Yeah, so I've been out of fantasy basketball for a couple of years now. For a while there, I was into not just fantasy basketball, I was into every sport across the country and the globe. Living and dying on results of games and sometimes of players I'd never even heard of just to try to win against your friend in whatever that league or competition was. But here's the thing, for a few years there it was great, but then it got to the point where fantasy sports lost its appeal to me because too many times results were being dictated based on uneven scheduling, or those guys who get real excited at the start of the season. They think they got the best team, they're so into it, they're trying to make all these moves, they're talking trash, and then their season starts off crap. And what do? They just stop updating their team, so all of a sudden people are getting easy wins against these guys who just don't really try anymore. But I'm willing to give fantasy basketball a shot again because in 2020, Sleeper released a brand new way of playing fantasy basketball. It's called Game Pick and it's only available on Sleeper. In Game Pick, owners pick a single game per week for each starter to count toward their team's total score, ensuring an even number of games played between opponents. I think that really is the key here to sort of rejuvenating fantasy sports, making sure that those schedules and those matchups are at least even so there's no unfair advantage. In Game Picks, you pick one game per week for each player based on things like matchups, home and away, opponent's defensive ranking, pace of play, all those sorts of things and a few more. So, Sleeper, they cracked the fantasy basketball code, and if you play fantasy football, if you prefer building out a weekly strategy versus daily busy work, you're gonna love Game Picks. Download the Sleeper app and start a league with your friends today. You will not be disappointed. Fantasy sports are back.
Of all the ads we do here on No Dunks, the number one question we get from y'all, hands down, is whether Magic Spoon cereal is actually as good and as healthy as we say it is. I get it. You're skeptical. You say Skeets. How could a cereal that has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving taste so good? You say Lily. How could a cereal that only has 140 calories a serving taste so good? You say Tassie. You say Trey. You say JD. How could a cereal that's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb taste so good? The answer to all of this, of course, is magic. Capital M. Build your own box, people. Magic Spoon. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. Delicious, but nutritious cereals. You ain't gotta feel guilty about that midnight snack anymore. So go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon, so confident in their product, so cocky almost, that it's backed with 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks and use that code NODUNKS to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring another classic.
Hey man, he was in my face.
I'm in your face.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Vroom, vroom, and welcome to the final Fast Friends episode presented by the NBA. That's game. All summer long, we've been watching and breaking down every film from the Fast and Furious franchise. And well, we've done it, guys. We are about to cross the finish line in this quarter-mile podcast race. The final movie, 2021's F9. I'm J.E. Skeets, along with our Fast and Furious expert, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey, yo! We've got our super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is. And look at this, back for our final installment. You thought we killed him off at the end of Fast 5. Oh, no one ever dies in this series. He is back from the dead. It's Matty O!
Hey, guys.
Hey, Matty O!
Hey.
Thanks for coming back on.
Thanks for having me back. to watch the
Did you go and I was gonna say, did you go and watch 6, 7, 8 Hobbs and Shaw, and then of course now F9?
Absolutely, I did it. Well, the one I didn't watch was Hobbs and Shaw. I've seen that before when it came out on HBO, but don't really remember it. So I didn't want to rewatch that, but because I had basically 2 days to watch all these movies, not rewatch.
Been in the lab.
I've been on a binge. Not a good binge.
No, I know. No. It was a wild ride we've been on this summer. There's no doubt. There's been a lot of movies watched. Some of them okay, some of them not. But before we start breaking down the final one here, F9, a friendly reminder that if you've enjoyed this weird podcast series, take a second, leave us that 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and or subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Definitely helps your boys out. Keep tweeting at us too, at No Dunks Inc., that's INC, or email in any and all Fast Friends questions, Fast and Furious questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Just put Fast Friends there in the subject header. JD, are you pumped here for the final one?
Oh, so pumped. I'm so happy that this day has finally arrived. What a relief. What a relief. I can go back to watching regular movies again, and my family is going to be very happy about it too.
Oh, they're tired of watching these with you?
I think so. It's a lot. It's a lot, and we watch them pretty much one after the other. So it'll be good to have a nice quiet. I got to watch the Downton Abbey movie or something. Just a nice
change of pace.
Cleanser.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have my Corona here for the final one, so
nice.
I am happy about that. Cheers to Dom and to family. So F9 TK, we're gonna get into it here. It's also called F9, the Fast Saga, and then internationally, I guess it's just straight up known as Fast and Furious 9, but we'll be calling it F9 here on the pod. Just came out this summer. I mean, months ago this thing was released. So this one's hot off the presses. Budget $200 million. Box office $700 million worldwide.
Wow. Just like that.
Not bad during a pandemic, I gotta say. Now, is that taking into consideration us paying $19.99 on Prime to watch this? What do you think?
The home box office.
Yeah, the home box office. You're right. So we kicked in at least $80. Well, no, Matty O, right before jumping on, said he had an illegal stream.
Did I though?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Heist it off a semi truck?
That's right. Dom started stealing DVDs. There's no more DVDs, so I started by stealing streams.
I heard that's the plot of Fast 10 is Dom is hunting down everybody that has streamed any of these movies.
He's the guy from Metallica, angry that people are down. Lars, yeah, sorry. I kept wanting to say Kirk Hammett, but I was like, I think Kirk Hammett was cool. I think it was Lars that was angry, though.
Lars is very angry. So the skinny with this movie, F9, Dom and the crew must take on an international terrorist who turns out to be Dom and Mia's estranged brother. Stars Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese, Ludacris, all your other regulars too. And then the big one, the new one, John Cena. We got another wrestler in the mix here. Yeah, you can't see me. Yeah, John Cena's the brother. Amazing. Directed once again by Justin Lin. He is back.
He's back
in the mix after doing a lot of the movies previously he directed, and now he's back for this one. Okay, so we're going to go into this movie scene by scene. We'll do the fast part, things we loved, the furious part, things we hated. Matty O's got something special for us in terms of ranking all of the films with a little twist, though. Not actually on the enjoyment or how great the film is, but on something else. But then we will at the end of it all. Especially JD and Trey, because they've been all over this. They've been on top of it. I've let it slip a little bit. I can't remember what I graded half of these movies anymore. But you guys will give us your official breakdown, leaderboard, the best movie from the Fast and Furious franchise, and then the worst movie from the Fast and Furious franchise, and where they fall in there, especially this one. So, with that said, everybody ready to go? TK, you got your tank top on once again. You've stayed true to that look.
Tank top, necklace, oh baby. You thought there was just one necklace?
Oh my God.
You're crazy. If you thought there was just one necklace, I spotted 3 in this movie. So yeah, I'm fired up. I mean, we've watched 10 of these now. And I'm honestly considering watching the animated series on Netflix. 5 seasons, Fast and Furious Speed Racers. Oh, let's get into it, Skeetsy.
We got to play the board game too, as we talked about
that's right.
on the last one. We see a necklace before any character in this movie. That's
yeah, we do.
How prominent this damn necklace is. Okay, so I will say, obviously leaning on Wikipedia for sort of the breakdown of this movie. Once again, they've been fantastic. We'll be jumping around a little bit, or I'll be taking some scenes that might happen a little bit later and sort of jamming them together with other scenes. It'll make sense in a second, because we open this movie. For a second, I thought we were watching Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Where's Tom Cruise? We are back in 1989, a little NASCAR racing. Jack Toretto. Okay? Jack. Not Tom. Jack Toretto participating in a late model race with his sons, Dom and Jacob, in his pit crew. Dom argues with rival racer Kenny Linder about his dirty tactics out there on the race. As the race resumes, Linder's car clips Jack's bumper, causes Jack's car to hit a wall, explodes, just boom, fireball, kills him. And then here's that part I was talking about. After the crash, this comes a little bit later, but after the crash, Dom is arrested after nearly beating Linder to death. I actually laughed, Matty O, because I remember when you were on Fast 5, you were talking about Hobbs and like the rap sheet on Dom, and it was so dated. He's like, this guy nearly beat a guy with like a wrench to his deathbed, basically. But he's done a lot of other things after that, but that's the only thing everybody like sort of focused on. So here it was amazing.
Yeah, at least now we know the guy he almost beat to death is named Kenny Linder.
That's right.
Kenny Linder.
I'll keep going here, and then we'll go through this. While serving his sentence, young Dom, he recalls that Jacob had worked on Jack's car the day he died, with help from Leo and Santos. Which is where Dom, young Dom meets them in prison. So he recalls that Jacob was working on Dad's car that day, and he concludes that Jacob killed his father. He did some tinkering under the hood there to make
Give him a weird look.
Yeah. Upon release, Dom confronts and challenges Jacob to a race. Dom wins, forces his brother to just keep driving. He just loses and drives off into the sunset. So again, I took a couple scenes there that sort of happened earlier in the movie JD, and sort of patched them all together. But the point of this is we get the backstory of what happened with Dom and Jacob's father dying and how that happened.
Right.
Getting Dom into jail, and then the blow up with him and his brother and why he's so pissed with him. What did you think of the start of this one?
I love a flashback. I was happy to see Michael Rooker there. They did a much better job of making Michael Rooker look 30 years younger than they did making Sean look 10 years younger, or whatever it was in the last movie. Sean, the guy from Tokyo. Is that his name? Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, from Tokyo Drift. He looks rough. Don't do meth, guys.
In this one, you're saying?
Yeah. I thought he looked old and skinny, and I mean, he's 39, so fair enough. But he looked like he's lived a life.
Yeah. See, he looks like he's been drifting a lot.
Yeah, a lot of drifting. A lot of drifting in rocket science.
Okay, but overall, the start here, and getting the story of what happened to their dad and why they sort of butted heads. You were buying it here?
No, of course not. Oh. God, it was like preposterous. First of all, the scene in the prison where Santos basically looks over and he's like, "Oh, hey, watch out for that hairline fracture in your tube or whatever." He's across the room. It's a hairline fracture. How are you seeing it? But okay. And then it's like, oh yeah, that's really dangerous. If it's, it's how people throw races, but if it goes wrong, it could blow the car up. And Dom just assumes, "Oh, my brother killed my father."
Yeah.
Just like that. Like pretty weak.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I'm raising my hand because I have a question.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Why would you need to screw with the car to throw the race?
Right.
Is that ever explained? Like, why couldn't the dad just drive slower? Or
would have been
make
too obvious. He was in first place. Everybody knew that. He came in with the lead. Didn't even need to race.
Okay,
to
that's
get the win.
something. That's something. But the hairline fracture is so dangerous. There's no other, like, couldn't you just put less gasoline in the car so you run out? I mean, I don't know. You know, like, certainly there's a better way to throw a race than doing something that could make the whole car explode. But that's just me.
Now that you mention it, though, and I can't believe I'm going to defend this movie, but there is a line where Michael Rooker is saying to Jack Toretto, like, it doesn't matter what you place, as long as you finish. Right.
Okay.
So you're gonna end up on top or whatever. So he had to not finish the race. I think. I think the car had to literally break down.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So I think that's why there was tampering there for him to throw the race. I mean, it's so convoluted, and I can't believe that I caught that. But I think that's why. I think that's why.
Okay. Well, a lot of this is going to be me asking you to explain things to me, to be quite honest. Because after my fourth Fast movie in 2 days, plus listening to your podcasts about them,
oh my God.
I needed a little nature's Nas to get me through this.
Nature's Nas.
Yeah, and originally it was at first it was like a movie enhancing drug, but woke up this morning, did not remember.
Oh no,
very much.
Oh boy,
wow.
Oh boy. Okay, well, I wanted to ask this to everybody. We'll start with you, Trey. What did you think of the casting for young Dom and young Jacob?
Young Dom, I thought pretty good.
Yeah,
they had similar looks, similar mannerisms, and whoever was playing young Dom certainly got into the old Dom Toretto ethos of not saying a lot and kind of mumbling through what you're going to be saying. A little bit too pretty, I think, young Jacob was. Yeah. I didn't think that he bared too much of a resemblance to John Cena and older Jacob, as we finally got to see him a little bit later on. But I loved this. As soon as we saw Toretto racing and it pulled back and you saw that cross necklace, I was like, this is it. We're finally seeing Dom's backstory. We heard about this in the first movie. Yep. His dad dying in a fireball, and you could only hear the screaming, but it was Dom screaming. I loved getting to see that. I loved getting to see the confrontation of Kenny Linder, where he smashed him up with the old wrench in the face. I love how they always mention he nearly beat him to death. Don't worry, Dom was not a murderer from way back. He's a recent convert to murdering people, but he's pure at heart if you really think about it. And then I really loved like the throwback scene of Dom versus Jacob, where we get to see the young versions of Dom's old crew. I gotta say, where was Leon? Had they not picked him up yet? Where was Leon? I'd love to know where that guy is, but I love how Jacob like steps out of his car after winning his race. He does the Dom arms. They eventually throw down. They get some car nos, not nature's nos. Dom says too soon. Apparently the guy's been saying it for 30 years. I thought that was incredible. So, of course, I was standing hard for all of the throwback scenes.
Yeah, I'm with you, too, on the appearance. Like, you're also in a tough spot, I think, as a casting director. Hey, go out and find me a young-looking Vin Diesel and a young-looking John Cena that can act. Like, there can't be that many that can sort of pass the bill. But, yeah, not bad for Dom. With you on Jacob. Looks nothing like you would imagine a young John Cena or Jacob is gonna look like, but...
It was all the haircut.
What are you gonna do?
That's all they could really do.
Yeah.
Like, he's got slick back hair as an adult, so he brushed it to the side when he was a kid.
Yeah. So an interesting start here. Yeah, that little twist, I guess, off the top, because you're sort of led to believe at first, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not telling us it's 1989 right away. It's like...
yeah, it does.
Does it?
Doesn't it?
Oh.
It pulls back, you see the helmet and the cross, and then we cut to the racetrack, and I think it says 1989.
Oh, okay.
Right
I thought for a second, I was like, we might be led to believe it's Dominic Toretto, because you saw Toretto, and then you're like, oh, right. No, this is Jack. Anyway.
Well, but honestly, you knew right from the Universal logo when it comes up, when they use the early 90s Universal logo.
True.
JD, I got to say, when I was on the stream, that made me tentative. I was like, oh, is this going to be a bad stream? Because it looked like the fidelity didn't look as good. But then the movie kicked in, and boy, with the right bandwidth, you don't know where you're watching that movie.
I know I said this sort of, we had to buy this one, or like not buy it. We had to pay a lot more money to rent this one. Let's put it that way. This was $20 because it obviously recently came out. Mine was Letterboxd, JD, like crazy.
Really?
Like an insane amount of black bars to the point Nora's like, this can't be right. I'm like, yeah, this is real. There is like way more black bar than there is actual movie. So I went and changed my like television setting just to like stretch it a little bit. So it was a little bit more.
That's like, no, that's how it's meant to be seen. It's
JD, this was, I should have taken a photo of it. It's horrible.
It's not horrible. It's a Panavision. That's what it is. It's a movie theater. Your TV is a different aspect ratio
I get it.
It's fine. It's fine. You're like an old man with that TV. Turn on all the lights and zoom in.
Jesus.
God damn it.
I'm like squinting, man. It was all black bars. I don't know what happened, but it was fine. It was fine. We got it working. So we get this again. That's the sort of the start. This little flashback, which we go
hold on.
through.
I just want to disagree for a second.
What?
I mean, Trey, you were saying you were loving it. I hated seeing all of this backstory. This has all been described to us before. I felt like I was watching Bruce Wayne again. Like, even though we've never seen it, it's all part of the legend, and I feel like we've seen nothing new other than Jacob being there, and we didn't even get to see him beat the guy up with the wrench. That happens off screen. That's what I'm waiting for. How badly did he beat him up? Did he deserve
nearly
to go?
to
Must
death.
have been bad.
Nearly
to death. All right, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, I think it's completely strange now that it almost feels like you're Skeets and you've been watching this thing zoomed in. And you're zoomed in on Dom and Jack, and then you pull back. You're like, whoa. Jacob was there the whole time?
Right.
How come we never heard of this? That is the craziest conceit of this entire movie, is that there has been another Toretto out there the entire time who's been involved with like every part of Dom's upbringing. So yeah, that, I mean, almost completely invalidates all the throwbacks in a way, but also it's like, we've been hearing about this for 20 years. I'm happy to see it.
Fair enough.
I was happy
enough.
to see like how he met Leo and Santos in jail, and they just happened to all be mechanics together working on their tuners in jail, as you do. So yeah, I mean, I was exactly right, JD. It's 100% fan service, but a little bit different version for fan service. There's so much in this movie. I feel like everything is self-referential. At least we got to see a different time period here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. But also, another thing that I hated about it was, where was Mia? I think that Mia was the saddest start girl in all the movies so far. When she starts the race with the flashlight, I think that was supposed to be Mia, because...
That was?
I thought that was Letty.
I thought it was Letty.
I thought it was Letty, too.
And Mia is the other girl that's there with them.
Why would she be so sad about the race then?
Because Dom is racing his brother.
So Mio should be sad about it, right? Not Letty.
Fair.
I'm pretty sure that's young sweaty Letty, for sure.
Right, okay, well...
Maybe she wasn't sad, she was just sweating.
Yeah.
Then even worse, because...
Those aren't tears.
Where was Mia then in all these flashbacks? Because you say...
She was there.
Oh,
there
yeah.
was 2 girls and two boys there. Yeah.
Well, but she's not in any of the sort of racing scenes or the shop scenes, garage scenes.
No, there's no... She never talks to them.
She never says anything.
No,
Yeah,
you see her.
Barely interacts with her other brother, the other Toretto. I mean, the other Toretto in this is Mia. Like, when she shows up halfway through, you're like, oh yeah, that's his sister.
Toretto.
I don't know. It's just it was such a weird dynamic. Like the whole fitting Jacob into it was just like, it was not.
So why did they do this then? Like, why did the writer do this, you think? Is it just we got to keep amping it up after every movie? Got to go to the next level, and it's like all this guy talks about his family, and he's taking down terrorist after terrorist. And he's battling with everybody, and then it's like, well, what's the what would be the final boss for this guy? I know we still have movies to come, but like, what about if he took on his family, his actual family? Yeah. And then somebody's like, well, he's not gonna fight Mia, is he?
Well, also, you just did that in the last movie. In Fate of the Furious, he basically takes on his family.
Yeah,
you're right. Well, yeah, this is a little different, I guess. You're right. He he's only doing that to save his family.
Yeah.
True.
So now this is actually just a long lost brother, or not? I mean, not long lost, but yeah, they've parted ways.
Can't wait for Mama Toretto to come in next year for the. She's going to be the new villain.
For sure.
Yeah.
She could bond with...
do we know a single thing about Mama Toretto? I don't think we've ever had one mention.
I mean, that's a great point. That's probably what's happening in Fast 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe she could have a mimosa with Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Hey, let's be honest. There's probably 3 mamas, right? I mean...
okay. Nora was like, the whole time watch this, she's like, they're not actually blood brothers. Like, they're not brothers, are they? Like, they don't look anything alike.
Oh, distinctive chin. I believe they say about John Cena. You have a distinctive chin.
Oh, and a Nordic lineage or something?
Yeah. So they're half brothers, right? It gotta be.
Let's assume.
Okay, we'll find out in 10 when Mama
we'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, okay. So let's go to the present now of this movie. 2 years after the confrontation against cyber terrorist Cypher, Dom's retired. This guy's just raising his little Brian, as they keep calling him, which, remember, is his son with the now deceased Neves, who is gone. But Dom is doing this, of course, with his wife, because they're married, Letty. So they're raising little Brian. They're out on the farm, just fixing tractors and water heaters all day. That's what they do out there. And, somebody's coming. And they do not get visitors often because they're literally like little Brian getting the hatch, and they get their guns and weapons ready. They're ready to throw down. They don't even know who's showing up. Well, it's Roman, Tej, and Ramsey who arrive with news. Why are you throwing up a heart sign right now?
Well, that's what he does. He puts his hands out the window.
I forgot. I thought you were doing that because you love Ramsey or something. I was like, okay.
No. Everyone knows this is the international symbol of friends. I can't. Why? I don't know where I have one goddamn camera. It's on the top of this laptop, but I cannot fucking figure out where it is.
Looks
There
like
it is. Sort of there. Look, I'm not very dexterous.
Does Roman make another tanning joke too about his skin color?
Oh yes.
Yeah, he did that in Fast 5 last time we had Matty O.
Worked so well last time.
That's strange. But they arrive and they have news that I guess Mr. Nobody was capturing Cypher, right? I think I have this clear.
Yeah, that's true.
Then his plane was subsequently being attacked by rogue agents, and it crashed somewhere in Central America. Mm-hmm. That's what we get from this iPad. Yeah, okay. And so they're like, we gotta go help, right? I mean, this is what we do. This is an SOS transmission here from Mr. Nobody's plane. We gotta go help him and figure this out. So everybody's gun ho, like Roman, Tej, Ramsey. Letty is like in right away. She is she's tired of this water heater not working, and she doesn't want to be a parent at all. Like
no.
Right?
Dom says to her, Brian and Mia got out of the game when they became parents, and she instantly answers back, "We're not them." She's in. She's like, I'm not even waiting for you, Dom.
Yeah.
No, we just sent our son to hide in the barn. And are they even on the run at this point? Are Dom and Letty on the run? I feel like the deal at the end of Fast 8 was, it's all good, baby. You're back in action. I mean, I guess you still know you have enemies out there. You know Cypher got away at the end. So you're playing it safe. But still, I mean, Letty was ready. She's like, get me out of here.
God.
Enough tractors. Give me a motorcycle.
She leaves that night.
Yeah, she's like, Dom has to catch up to her later. Dom's got to figure out all the plans. Who's going to be watching Brian?
I know.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, Letty's like, you figure it out. Your kid. See ya.
Yeah, and we know the flight's not till tomorrow morning. It's like 8 a.m. they say. She's like, I'm so excited to get the hell off this farm. I'm just gonna go sit by the plane for a little bit overnight.
Wow, how far is that plane though? I mean, who knows where they live? They might have to sleep near it's like when you got to sleep near the airport.
Yeah. Totally.
Do you think that Letty is angry that she is a quote unquote a mother, or that it's not her child. So like, do you think her reaction differs if little Brian is actually her baby? 'Cause I think there's some resentment.
So. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of resentment going on here.
I think you're
which,
right.
Which could have been fun to play with, but no. We're not gonna. We're just like, no, I gotta go because of loyalty. So bye.
Yeah.
Also, here's another question: if Brian is still alive, which he is in this movie, why does he name his kid Brian?
For us,
They're brothers.
Well, I think that's
Sure,
weird.
he could have named it after his real brother.
I think
but
JD
no way.
actually nailed it. I think that one's for us, the audience. less
Yeah,
the
exactly.
actual
Exactly.
storyline.
but it's caused so many problems, so many confusion problems. Like, oh, where are your kids, Mia? They're with Brian, and I was like, Brian? Brian's 4. What are you talking about? Oh, Brian. Right. Brian is still alive. I forgot. He's just relegated to dad mode.
Yeah.
Babysitter. It's like, guys, listen, I know you want to keep Brian alive, and I think what they did was quite beautiful, actually. Trey pointed it out that, let's keep Paul Walker's memory alive by keeping this character alive and let him live out his life with his family. Great. Just say, hey, Brian and Mia decided they're living off the grid. They don't want to contact with anybody. We don't know where they are. And that's the end of that. Like, it's like every time you mention him, or like at the very end when we see the car pull up, it's like, oh, good, Brian's here. That just bums me out. It's like, oh, yeah, Paul Walker's dead. God damn.
I don't mean to be laughing over that. I like how angry you are.
No, but you're right, because to jump to the end, I thought that was an awful choice, because now how are they going to pay that off? Like, for 2 more movies, because I think, Trey, maybe I'm wrong, but there's going to be 2 more movies after this.
Dude,
Yeah, Fast
there's
10
gonna
is
be 100
actually
more.
2 parts.
Well, I know. I thought I read that Vin.
there's 100 more, man. Don't worry.
Vin committed
Well,
to
this
these
saga,
3.
yeah.
This is the final saga. I've actually also heard that the final 2 are going to be like part 1 and part 2 of the same same movie. But whatever. So for 2 more movies, we're gonna have like either just hear Brian reference, since like he's like Pokeroo for our Canadian listeners.
Nice.
Oh, where was Brian? Oh, he just left. Oh, you just missed Brian.
Right.
Oh, who you calling? Brian. Brian, you're being so funny on the phone, Brian. Should we? Oh, you want to FaceTime? Oh, your internet's acting up, so you can't FaceTime? Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, that makes sense. Or there's going to be some sort of like CGI Brian, like Tupac hologram, which I think is like really effed up. So, like, again, like JD's right. The only problem with the JD plan of just saying they're off the grid, no one knows where they are, they're raising their family, is that fair to Mia? Or AK, is that fair to Jordana Brewster?
That's what it is.
That's what it
problem
is.
bringing Mia back. The problem is not having Brian and Mia off screen. That would be fine. That's what they did in Fast 8, and they handled it exactly like JD said. They have that line where they're like, let's call Brian and Mia. No, we can't. That's it. But then, when you're going for, there's another hidden Toretto, at that point you have to bring back all of the Torettos, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bring back Brian O'Connor, unfortunately. So that now makes it super awkward to think that there's Dom out there, Mia out there, Letty out there, new Toretto out there, and Brian, who we know still loves to drive because he shows up in a blue car at the end. He's just at home.
Yeah.
You should have just kept Mia out, which unfortunately means you're keeping Jordana Brewster out, and I think that that's 100% the sticking point for Vin.
Yeah.
He's like, she's family, she's in. We're finding a way to bring her back.
I think that's exactly it. I think you nailed it there, because this is a lot cleaner if just Mia is not there.
Yeah.
But the complication is, as Trey said, well, it's actually her brother they're trying to like track down. And,
I'm like, yeah,
and
Letty,
get back.
you should have called Mia. You definitely should have, to find out that this long lost brother is back. But by bringing her back, it just everything. It's a massive wrench in the story for.
So is Brian that? It's weird that even Brian is sort of like allowing Mia like to go do this. Like, come on,
she has 2 kids.
We have
She has
2
kids. It's literally an insane choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of, you could argue, insane for Dom and Letty to go too. But
So is little Brian with Brian?
yes,
Yeah.
You don't find that out for a while, though. To be honest.
That's true.
I don't think you find out until towards the end.
Okay, so back to the farm. Letty gives the necklace. Yeah, there's that necklace to little Brian. By the way, unless I missed this, I thought little Brian put it on for like 1 second and then it was hanging on his bedpost, like the next shot. He was like, all right, thanks, Mom. Mom, you're not even my mom. It's not even really a true necklace, if you think about it. Anyway, she took off, like I said. But then, okay, Dom takes another look at the iPad, right? And he sees, what does he see? A necklace?
Yeah, a cross necklace.
Yeah.
Freaking another necklace. We had 3 necklaces in the first 10 minutes of this movie, or 15 minutes of the movie. It's amazing. So, and he... Like, I love that he's like, there's only 3 of these in the world.
I recognize that necklace.
Right? But he suspects that it's his brother who has one of these, and obviously he knows well, actually, here's a question. Does Dom know Jacob is doing all of this, like, spy stuff? Like, that's a little unclear to me. It feels like he doesn't, right?
I would
Until
guess
later
no.
he learns in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. But he thinks it's Jacob, so he quickly calls Brian and says, hey, can you swing by, pick up little Brian? I gotta go. So in the morning, as they are boarding the plane, like a real Taskmaster move, he shows up 1 minute before boarding and nails it, and always nails it. Never left there on the tarmac. Just perfectly executed there by Dom. Okay, so I guess we sort of go to them and this device. They get... We're in the jungle, right? We're in Central America.
Yeah.
And
Central America.
Monte
Quinto.
yes, thank you. And they end up searching the plane that went down, and they find a part of a device named Project Aries, which can hack into any computer-controlled weapon system. The team, though, is then ambushed by a private army led by, you guessed it, Jacob. Yes, John Cena is here, who steals the device. So
Hold on.
Is it a private army?
I thought it was
I think it's the army.
Yeah, the
That's
Monte Quinto army.
Okay, the army, and Jacob is then there.
He's
Correct.
definitely there because they
yeah.
have that sick scene of him watching from afar with his necklace dangling over his shoulder.
You're right.
Who wears a backwards necklace?
We just want to make sure we see that necklace.
You're
It
right.
was like when we went out, when Tass
Ridiculous.
had to wear the Vince Carter jersey, but we put it on him backwards so you could see that it said Carter on the front. It's an old director's trick.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. Thank you for correcting me there, because they pull up to that plane crash in the jungle. Again, very Lost-like. Shout out to Locke. Not John Locke, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I miss Locke. Miss him so much in this movie.
They find this weird device, this little half geometric dome. Or
I think it was
Half a
I think
sphere,
it was
yeah.
a coffee pod.
Yeah, it was a giant Nespresso coffee.
It was the best Aries in the world.
So I will say Ramsey has done more in the first 20 minutes of this movie than she did in all of F8. So I was happy about that, JD, because I know we were upset about that. Like,
Yep.
Ramsey did nothing in the last one, in The Fate of the Furious. This one, she was doing a lot early, and it continued through in this movie.
Yeah, Ramsey was great in this.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Ramsey a lot in this. I love that she can't drive and she's in a Fast and Furious movie. I love it. That's way ahead.
That was funny.
But,
Is now a good time to ask, what is Aries?
Oh, Aries is the new God's Eye.
Okay, yeah, so this is my question. Let's do a quick power rankings. Power rankings. Nightshade, God's Eye, Aries.
Snowflake. Isn't there a snowflake?
Oh, it's the virus.
That's
yeah, the
Hobbs and
snowflake
Shaw, I
virus.
think.
Yeah. So which one is the most deadly? Is that...
Well, like what? Like, because weren't there 2 whole movies about trying to put together Nightshade? Or was it just one movie?
No, it was one. Well, Nightshade is Owen Shaw. God's Eye is Mose Jaconde and Deckard Shaw. And then Project Aries is Jacob Toretto. For me, I think God's Eye is the clear winner. Like, that's the only one that ever gets weaponized. Like, they're actually using it in that last scene, to track down Ramsey when she's going all over the city, and they're able to, like, attach it to their guns or whatever. So yeah, I mean, God's Eye is the only one that ever actually functions, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And Aries is the same as Nightshade, right? Only on a larger scale, as far as I could tell. Like
I think you're
Nightshade,
right.
you could just shut things down, I guess, And then with Aries, you could actually just shut down stuff. Anything that was digital could be shut down, or maybe controlled. Right?
Are you saying anything that has a 1 or a 0 in
Anything
it?
with a 1 and 0.
But I mean, I was laughing because I forget which one podcast you were talking about how Nightshade was such a MacGuffin that they were like, well, let's just not put too much attention on it.
Right. Yeah.
And then only to be met with Aries, which I was like, okay, well, I guess they didn't learn any lessons from that.
No.
They're just like, just come up with another name of the villain from Wonder Woman. But yeah.
Okay, so the military shows up, like you guys say, because Roman has a scene here where he gets shot at and somehow survives, which he will joke about, which was sort of funny. But he kills like 20 guys. Like he just goes on a rampage.
He was like Denny Savard the way he was spin-a-ramming.
Oh my God. What was he played in the 80s, 70s maybe? Or how old is he?
No, you're thinking of Serge Savard. This is Denny Savard.
Well,
oh no, wait. Now I'm confused. No, Denny Savard was the younger one. I think he played in the 90s.
Okay.
80s and 90s.
That was a Montreal Canadiens 90s reference there for all of our listeners and watchers. Yeah, he was spinning. And survives. And again, Trey jokes about it, really, and which becomes like a running gag for a little bit in this movie of just like, I don't know, man, we can't die.
We might be invincible.
Yeah.
Are we? Are we not? Are we? Are we not? Almost everybody's invincible, it seems, except for Giselle. You know, she's literally except for Giselle. Everybody is invincible except for Giselle.
And Elena. Elena, to be fair, can't survive a gunshot.
At least Elena got shot, probably in the head. Trey's right. Giselle falls from a car.
That was on a plane.
Yeah, I was still a little unclear how high she was.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, you're right. She's in the air, though. But so everybody falls in every movie from insane heights. Her biggest problem was she didn't land on a car.
Yeah.
Which is a bed, as we talked about.
Great point.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Owen Shaw made a full recovery as far as I could tell.
Yeah, he's back.
He's great.
He's back.
They could have called him in if they wanted to for this movie. Didn't even need to. You want one of my sons? Nah, not now.
Well, maybe Owen's babysitting little Brian.
He's good with babies.
Uncle Owen. No, that's his brother.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's right. Dex. Okay, so then we get them driving through landmines.
I do have a question about this.
Okay.
Again, because this podcast is just you answering my questions. When they ask Tej, they're like, well, what do we do? He's like, well, just quick calculations, back of an envelope with the detonation, power of a landmine plus the range that it could go.
Yeah.
We got to drive 80 miles an hour, at least 80 miles an hour. And Roman's like, well, my car doesn't go that fast or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, aren't they always just trying to drive as fast as possible?
I know. Why are they worried about the limit?
Why are they suddenly like 80 miles an hour? I mean, it's fast for a city street, but it's not that fast.
Not when you're running from an army. I mean,
No, I mean, look, if you're on a highway and there's no one around on a Sunday morning, I don't know. I'm better with kilometers, but I don't think 80 is that fast.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's 130.
It's
130,
there.
yeah. I think we've all driven 130 kilometers an hour at some point in our lives.
Oh man, yeah.
And you're talking to me. I mean, I'm a conservative driver.
Right.
Even I've hit that and gone, oh wow, I didn't realize I was driving that fast.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
why are they so concerned about it?
I think two reasons. One, hardy har, Roman's in a vehicle that actually can't even go that speed.
Okay.
It looked like he finally picked the right vehicle, Matt.
Right.
He finally went with one
Right.
that's very well protected, well suited to the job at hand. Would have been better to go with the Lambo for this at the end here.
And then maybe the other reason, I think, the smaller reason is just so you can say, hey, how are they driving over mines?
Yeah,
But
so
it's
say
like,
100.
But they're
then.
driving fast enough over them that it then triggers, behind them, I guess.
100 miles an hour dodging mines. Like, whoa. You know?
Yeah, it was like driving over those landmines. It was like me driving on DeKalb Avenue. Am I right?
Right?
Oh yeah. When the lane changes, you know, because sometimes it's one way in one
Oh
direction.
Jesus! But pothole after
It's more
pothole.
treacherous. That's more treacherous than driving over.
Oh,
the
it
line.
is. It is.
Can
for sure.
be.
Just throw some of those giant metal slabs over the landmines. You'll be fine. That's what they do around here. Hey, giant piece of metal, it's fixed. Local humor.
Back to Roman. At one point, somebody asked him, "How in the hell are you not dead?" Yeah, good. You could have been asking that for the last 10 movies now. Letty loses the device to John Cena. This is all this race here, guys. This is a big set piece here. She loses the device to Jacob.
I had a laugh when she said, "The device!" The device!
my Nespresso!
Yeah.
You know I'm a monster without my coffee in the morning.
One half of the device.
I dropped the item!
But, and then here again, like, justice for Giselle, like, Letty, like, lands on the car, right? Like, just boom. Dom, like, car catches her.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, she's fine, no problem. She landed on a car, you're okay. We then get to the bridge, and Tej is there first. So they hit that bridge, this rickety old bridge. Definitely should not be taking a car across it. But they do, and unfortunately, they probably could have just got across it pretty easily, but the rolling vehicle that they had taken out, it actually, he gets onto the bridge, it clips the one end of it, and it starts like deteriorating and falling. So it goes down. They somehow like nos off it, I guess. For a second you think, oh boy, they're gone. You didn't really, but then they come flying up. So there's no bridge. We've got Jacob driving towards that no bridge. We've got, of course, Dom and Letty driving towards that no bridge. Jacob just, boom, takes off it. And you're like, holy crap. I mean, we saw Brian and Dom do this before. It's like, it's
the old Toretto trick of driving straight off a cliff.
Yeah, it works a lot of the time.
Jacobs perfected it in my mind.
Yeah.
Well,
that plane was badass, coming in and just magnetizing his car and taking him off into the sunset.
Yeah,
it was
just
beautiful.
like little stealth bomber just catches him, perfectly played. And then, well, Dom, they don't have a stealth bomber to pick him up in the midair, so he does what I can only call like a George of the Jungle-like maneuver.
I'd say more Tarzan, but sure, yeah.
Oh, wait, I meant Tarzan.
Oh, George of the Jungle.
No, George of the Jungle's way more famous than Tarzan.
Really?
You think so?
No!
Okay, Tarzan is what I meant, and he's got his chain, so that works even better. And he swings his car across the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that was new. Yeah, Letty. So he it's almost like a reverse carpooning here by Dom as well to somehow take the cable that was already there and get it stuck on the bottom. I'm not going to lie, though. I loved the driving across the rickety bridge part because, I mean, how many different movies have you seen a hero run across a rickety bridge? Right. Oh, no, it's collapsing behind me. I'm never going to make it. They did it with a car. I thought that was pretty smart. I like that. Sure. And I also did like the part when they were avoiding the landmines until the very end. Roman gets blasted up. He gets caught in between two mountains. I yelled, "Wedgie!" We gotta count it, I think.
And then almost falls on a landmine that is the worst buried landmine of all time.
Somebody swept it out.
The whole thing is stuck out of there.
Do not step on this.
Yeah.
I was getting Jay, did you get Indiana Jones vibes from this set piece?
100%.
Yeah, I felt like it was a cross between that and, now that I'm a gamer, I can say Uncharted 4.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, I was going to say Temple Run.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure, that too.
But especially when Roman is getting shot up, Skeets mentioned, he doesn't get hit, but he kills 15, 16 guys. I've been in that situation in Uncharted. Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You sometimes you just got to stand there and gun everybody down. You just flip it over to easy mode, and and you're done, right? Like
JT, no, you don't do that. You work hard at it. You learn their movements, their spacing, and then you figure out how to take them out.
Right.
Okay. You playing this too, Matty O?
Playing it, I finished it. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, it's old news.
Come on, bro.
Old news.
Waiting for Uncharted 5.
I was sitting around the fire at my buddy Grish's the other night, wearing my Everlane sweats, and the conversation turned to 90s bands. So you'll excuse me when I do this. Everlane, whenever you need me. Everlane, whenever I'm gone too long. Sorry about that. Everlane has all the essentials. You can dress them up, you can dress them down like I did around the fire pit. I hit the farmer's market in my Everlane, wear them to dinner. Everlane has all the essentials for all your different events. From damn good denim to super soft loungewear. And Everlane partners with the best and most ethical factories in the world for a fit to feel good about. They accept returns within 30 days of the ship date. All uniform clothing comes with a 365-day guarantee. How about that? Go to everlane.com/nodunks and sign up for 10% off your first order plus free shipping. And get easy returns within 30 days of your ship date. That's 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/nodunks and sign up to hang out at my buddy Grish's. There was one day in my life where I wore a fedora. Just once. I wore it once. I must have been feeling real good that day. Ultra confident. And it paid off. I had a very good day. The right hat or the right outfit, it can bring out something special in us. Like that perfect fedora. If it was so perfect, why didn't I wear it again? No idea. And with Indochino, creating your best look could be more affordable than you think. Custom and affordable. Those sound like opposing ideas, but they're not with Indochino. I have a couple weddings next year. I'm really looking forward to them, and I know exactly where I'm shopping first because all my measurements are stored on Indochino's website. I just have to click what I want, and it's made custom for me using the info I put up just once on their website using their online tutorial. Pretty badass. I don't have to worry about my measurements ever again. I can just worry about making my customizations like my Mandarin collar choice. Always picking the collarless collars. Why do we need to wear ties anymore? Am I right? Why? No reason at all. The best part, Indochino suits start at just $3.99 with all customizations included. And if you like getting measured in person, Indochino is now open at select Nordstrom stores, giving you even more ways to get great fitting, personalized clothing. Find your nearest location at Indochino.com. Right now, you can get $50 off any purchase of $3.99 or more by using code NODUNKS at checkout. That's $50 off a purchase of $3.99 or more at INDOCHINO.com, promo code NODUNKS.
Okay, anything to add to this crazy scene with all of this going on? The Jacob obviously showing up, the plane, the Tarzan move across the water, all that stuff with Roman, and anything to add?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just enjoyed a little bit of karma, the writer's karma.
Karma, nice.
Karma with a C-A-R.
With a C, yeah.
When Mr. Nobody is mentioned many times when they're talking about the guidance thing, and it's just like, you fucked yourselves here because you named a character Mr. Nobody, so now you have to call him Mr. Nobody. Any other character, you would just call them by their last name. Hobbs said this, Hobbs said that.
Right.
Hobbs can't find me. But now it's like actual lines are like, Roman, not a soul in sight. No sign of Mr. Nobody. If you don't say Mr., then it's no sign of nobody, right? Or Dom says, whatever it is, Mr. Nobody wanted us to find it. Otherwise, it's whatever it is, nobody wanted it. Right? So they always have to say Mr. Nobody. So You did it to yourselves, writers. You did it to yourselves.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more, because to me, every time they said it, it sounded like, what are those books called with those circular people? And it's like Mr. Moody, Mr. Happy,
Mr. Grumpy.
Like, this sounds so dumb. And the only other note I had was I thought that the reveal of John Cena was pretty lame. Like, because you see old, quote unquote John Cena in the flashbacks, and then you see him looking over the bridge, but you see just the chain. So the first time you see his face, I believe, is when he speeds up in the car parallel to Dom and picks up the device. And you just see him through the car window, and he looks at him, and like, I was like, that's the reveal for like this huge action star jumping into this franchise. I thought it was pretty lame.
Yeah. They love nothing more in this series though than a window through window, a car window through car window glance at each other. It says so much more than words.
Right. So then you could talk in your normal voice, and the person behind the glass in the other car can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
they're all linked up.
To that point, Matt, like, let's talk about it now. Like, John Cena totally wasted in this movie. So
100% agree.
I love I've seen. I'm not a wrestling fan, as you know. But the two things I've seen him in, Trainwreck and Blockers. He was in Trainwreck as well. And he's amazing, hilarious. And I think, to Matt's point, this is Vin Diesel saying, we're bringing in another charismatic, hilarious wrestler? First of all, number one, we're making him a Toretto. Gloomy as fuck. Never, like, sad and moody, and he doesn't emote at all, okay? That's number one. Number two,
the Toretto way.
No heroic reveal. Like, we're not going to see, he's going to see me through a car window, and that's it, on equal playing grounds, you know what I mean? And otherwise we're gonna neuter him. We're gonna take everything that everybody loves about John Cena and take it out of this character, and that way he's not gonna outshine me. That's one of my big complaints with this movie.
Well, fine, let's talk about it now. Vin Diesel ruined this fucking movie. He made this movie garbage because, like you guys were saying, he took out the cutscene in the credits of the last movie. He did not want Hobbs and Shaw to be, credited or be seen as a big thing. Then you have Hobbs and Shaw, which, for whatever you think about it, is a way more fun movie than this.
Yeah.
And uses the sort of humor that The Rock can pull off, and that very clearly John Cena can pull off. And this movie is begging for more of that kind of vibes, but it's so self-serious. It is the worst of all the Fast and Furious tendencies to be like brooding when this is supposed to be a fun and ridiculous romp. And you have this person that's capable of pulling it off, and Vin Diesel basically says no. Now, what happened to The Rock and Decker in this? Did Vin say The Rock's not allowed in this one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then it's insane.
Yeah, Tyrese says, if The Rock is going to be in Fast and Furious 9, I'm not going to be in it. And Vin Diesel
said that?
Yeah, Tyrese said that. And Vin Diesel took Tyrese over The Rock. I guess probably because he was there first, and he hadn't, in Vin's view, gone behind his back to make Hobbs and Shaw. But I mean, it's 100% right. This movie is dying for somebody to be the funny guy. Because, the only jokes at this point are Tej and Roman going back and forth, joking about what we've seen for the past 5 movies. Those are the only jokes, because Vin's not going to be doing it. He's not going to be yucking it up on screen. It could have been Cena. They could have definitely given him more personality rather than just, this random Toretto who is angry and he's the villain. A major misuse of John Cena.
Yeah, it's a great point. Why didn't they make him such an opposite Toretto? Like a wisecracking, like sillier, like, not as disciplined maybe even as Dom or whatever. You could still have all this weird story with what was going on with his dad, but make him fun. And that actually would make it almost more believable that they butted heads and they went their separate ways and stuff like that. Like, it's still his brother, so he's still going to love him. But, yeah, I'm with you guys. That John Cena's, it could have been anybody playing this.
Yeah. It's like the inmates are running the asylum at this point.
Yeah.
Like, fine, I understand Dom is the center of the movie, but, find a way to write him out. Write a great script with him not involved. And I guarantee you it's going to be a better movie with John Cena, The Rock, and Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I mean, he is clearly the worst of those four. So why is
But that's not happening, man. Vin Diesel has convinced himself he's Dominic Toretto. Like
I understand that, but this movie. I mean, well, like we haven't gotten to the end yet, but are we all agreeing this is one of the worst movies of the 10?
This is worse than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I hated this movie.
Oh, me too.
I hate this movie too.
Yeah.
So
I think this movie is okay.
Well, that is scathing criticism coming from you.
I know.
Trey Kirby taking a shit on this movie because he loves this series.
Hey, I still like it better than Too Fast.
Okay.
Still like it barely.
Sorry, what were you saying, Matt?
no, I mean that's so upsetting. It's like you have the tools, but you don't take them out of the tool shed.
Yeah.
I mean, like you have The Rock,
that
you
one?
have
Yeah.
Statham, and now you have Cena. And at the behest of one crazy man who believes he is a street racer,
Yeah, exactly.
you're making the movie actively worse.
Yeah.
And that's what made me so angry watching it was like not just this is a bad movie, but this could so easily be a way better movie just by making personnel choices. The personnel you already have in this franchise.
Yeah.
And again, at the behest of a true madman, you're screwing it up. And then you're just throwing in Cardi B as if that's going to make up for it.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Here's a note I had. Who was Cardi B? There's another question I have.
Oh, hold
let's
on.
get
We're not there
let's
yet.
get
We're
there.
not there yet. Okay.
We're
the
like
team-
12 minutes into the movie.
I know. We got it.
Okay, speed it up. Speed it up.
They just rolled the opening credits.
The team rendezvous with Stasiak. All right.
Oh, he's back.
He's got the busted nose still.
Crazy nose.
So
I love it.
they talk with him on way to the safe house. This is where Dom's sister Mia arrives to help, and Dom, I guess, reluctantly allows her to join them. Yeah, sure. The team then learns that Han is connected to Aries, this project, and Letty and Mia decide, well, we're going to go to Tokyo to investigate. Meanwhile, Jacob meets with Otto, his associate. Cypher is being held at their base, and after failing to sort of sway Jacob, tells him the other half of Aries is in Edinburgh. Is that right? I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
I was confused with the Cypher part, with what was going on and who was in control and why she was sort of in a jail, and what their relationship was between Otto, Cypher, and Jacob. Trey.
I only got it like probably 15 minutes ago because you mentioned that Mr. Nobody's plane was attacked by a rogue agent, which therefore is Jacob, who is trying to break Cypher out, or I guess, take custody of Cypher because they have her in, like a fish tank with a maze around it for whatever reason. And I guess Otto, at one point, he says he's the financier, so he's paying for Jacob to go and get Aries, and they need Cypher to get Aries. So I think it's just Otto's funding this entire thing, and Jacob's the one who's really gonna go and get it done.
Yeah, Cypher's got a fascinating look. Charlize Theron to her in this one. For my NFT lovers out there, and for everybody watching on YouTube, Cypher is basically a Pudgy Penguin.
Got the Beatles bangs.
What a classic look she's rocking. I don't know, looks rare. So yeah, that's Cypher's bowl cut look there for you listeners to the podcast. But that's what's going on. We get the Han reveal, and then we get, I guess, making a little more sense of what the heck this relationship between Cypher, Otto, and Jacob is. Thoughts, Matty O?
Well, I mean, you call it a Han reveal. Han's on the poster of this movie.
Yeah, well, they do that a lot in this series. That's nothing new, man.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it except why did they capture Cypher? So they could make Charlize Theron spend another movie where she cannot interact with another human.
Right.
Yeah, no, but you're right. She talks to Jacob at least in this one.
Yeah.
Through a thick glass, I guess, or plexiglass wall. But yeah, never face to face with any of the heroes in this movie, right? No. In fact, the one time you think she's actually there at the end, no, she's playing a video game. She's Matty O.
Lost again.
Matty O, how many days do you think Charlize worked on this? I mean, Is that one day of work?
No.
Really? Feels
I
like
think maybe 3.
Oh, really? Okay. Pretty
I
good.
didn't know a lot.
Yeah, I guess she's really not in that many scenes.
Not really.
No, not really at all.
Not really.
She's in not many locations. Yeah, 2 or 3 sounds right. Days
Well,
sounds
I guess so. At least a day to get in and get that haircut.
Yeah. What a look.
Hopefully that was a wig because, yikes.
You think so? You didn't like it?
Well, just you got to walk around with that haircut. There's not many other things you could do with it once your hair is cut into a bowl.
It's sort of like oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. The Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like Lloyd's haircut a little bit. So, okay, what did you think, JD? Matt's right. Han on the poster heading into this. I mean, I said it podcasts ago, actually. Like, we know Han's coming back because I've seen the poster that he's here. But what did you think about the whole? And we're gonna get to Tokyo here in the rundown, but like just this whole Han angle and the move they pulled off.
The move is in terms of his getting like his reveal that happens later, or the fact that he's somehow connected to this. Like Han coming back, I thought, I mean, okay, sure. I read after that this is basically the reason Justin Lin wanted to come back and do this movie, or at least that's what he said. It was one of the reasons. Justice for Han, right?
Yeah, right.
He did get done dirty with Statham joining the team, right? So, and then the cutscene at the very end shows we're going to finally get some payback or something.
Yeah.
Shaw's going to pay his debt to us fans for joining the team. It wasn't even really his fault. He was like getting revenge for his brother, and then this very team that he was getting revenge on asked him to join the team. What else was he supposed to do? But
isn't it implied that Deckard killing Han was part of Mr. Nobody's plan to make him disappear?
Yeah. It was, but Deckard wasn't in on it as far as I could tell, right?
I don't think he was a Mr. Nobody operative at that point.
No.
I don't think so, but a lot of people were, apparently. That's the crazy thing to me, is that this scene has now been double retconned. It's like, we saw Han die in Tokyo Drift, and then we pulled back a little bit more, and oh wait, Jason Statham is there. Actually, it was Deckard Shaw who made that explode. Oh wait, we're gonna pull back even more. Yeah, Deckard did that, but Mr. Nobody knew it was going to happen and had a plan in place right away to be able to squirrel him away into the Tokyo underground. Luckily, though, he had mentioned that he viewed Tokyo as his Mexico at some point to Letty, so that if she happened to be in Tokyo and saw a Mexican flag anywhere, it's likely to be Han. They're like, remember that time Han said that he would treat Tokyo like Mexico? Did you notice that there is a flag up there? It's gotta be him. Yeah. It's gotta be.
Oh, hi. We're in one of the literally biggest cities in the world. That's what I couldn't figure out. Like, these movies, like, you kind of like look away for a second, and then you're like, did they explain? Like, is it a coincidence that they happen to be eating dinner al fresco in front of this flag that's in a window, or did they say they went to this restaurant because it was near where he used to live? Or
that was my assumption, that they were there. They were in that area because the clues had led them there. But did they say anything about that? I have no idea. I don't remember them saying anything like that. But
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was one scene in between Letty and Mia actually finding Han still alive, along with his ward, L.
Ward.
But and this scene is, and I don't think we need to take a long time on it. It's Dom meeting his father's former mechanic buddy, who took Jacob,
another placeholder. Thanks, buddy.
who took Jacob in after his exile, and learns that Jacob is in London. So Dom goes and sees Buddy. I was gonna say they share a Corona, but Dom never takes a sip. And that's how you know this guy means business, I think. Is like he's not even taking one little drink of this Corona that he's been handed by Buddy.
So. Not only that, did his best to warm that beer up. He has the full neck and the body.
I hate this. Oh, yeah.
But he was holding it like that, gripping like a... Oh, my God. I'm glad that he put it down, because if he had any intention of actually drinking that beer, I would have been furious.
Yeah. And he gets him. I have that right. He just gets information that Jacob's probably in London, right?
Yeah. That's it. That's the only piece of information
Yeah.
that he gets, other than, I don't know what Buddy says something like, I tried my best. I tried my best with your brother, but, what are you going to do? Michael Rooker's great, though. Anytime he's on screen, I love seeing him. But
that said, we keep in touch constantly through Facebook and other social media apps. And even though I haven't seen him for a while, I think I saw a picture of him on the London Eye Ferris wheel.
He looked happy.
He was sitting next to Chris Middleton.
All right. So back to Tokyo. We get this finding out that Han is alive because of the whole Mexican flag in a window. We also get Mia telling Letty that she stayed in touch with Jacob a year after the death of their father. And then somebody, I think it's Letty, says, "Funny how we all have secrets."
yeah.
Yeah, Mia also says, I broke into a police archive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually,
No
we
reason.
kind of glossed over that,
mentioned
but it was jarring in a way that's kind of bad to see Letty and Mia just have their own scene, like have dinner together and just talk to each other. So jarring in the sense that, like, it should really not be that jarring for them to do it, but just evidence that that is not the kind of thing that can happen in these movies.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that was nice. I mean, again,
point.
Mia should not be in this movie, but it was nice that they gave them a scene together.
Okay, well, you didn't love the Jacob reveal with John Cena. How did you feel, Matt, in this movie about the Han reveal? Like, there's the huge action scene between the three women and a bunch of bad guys. That's happening in the apartment. Letty eventually makes her way outside, and boom, there's a sniper like taking down some guys, and then do we see Han right there?
Yeah,
We
kind
have
of.
there, after the slowest camera moves of all time, it's just like, we all know he's in the movie. Just reveal him already. God damn it. And then you sort of see him walk away from he comes away from the sniper, and I almost didn't recognize him because he had this blue light on him.
Totally.
And I was like, is that
And he has a
Han?
haircut too.
And he got a haircut.
And a haircut, so.
Same.
He unfortunately didn't look like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That would have been great. It just I think it really, we were like, hey, we need an action scene. We haven't had an action scene here in a little bit where guys or women are fighting. So let's put it right here in this in this I don't know, small room. I was confused actually sort of who these people were.
I think that they were part of Jacob's crew, right?
Okay, so they're just trying to get to
They're
Han?
trying
Yeah,
to get
well, the point they mentioned that like Han's DNA is encoded into this weapon, right? And that's kind of why they go to Tokyo in the first place. Because I think Dom shows Letty and Mia the postcard that Han sent of Mexico from Tokyo. That's their tiniest of breadcrumbs that at least gets them to Tokyo. But I think at that point, Jacob must have similar information that we got to go to Tokyo to figure out somehow how to get this other half of the device and how to get it open.
Right.
But
Because
nobody
they don't know L is the key at this point.
I don't think so. I was just
No.
going to say that. I don't think anybody knows except for Han.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, that fight in the apartment was atrocious.
Yeah, very bad.
Again, in video game mode, hired stuntmen to literally just take punches, right? I mean, it was actually, Justin Lin saves it a little with editing because he's cutting back to Letty and Mia and Letty and Mia. But if you go back and watch that scene, which I did, it's just the guys are just basically stunned by a pot, stand there, and then just waiting to get punched, waiting to get knocked out. And then, there's a cool stunt where Letty flies out the window with the guy. But other than that, I mean, and they do that stunt a couple of times in the movie. Roman does it to a guy, tackles him front first, lands, about 10 or 15 feet underneath, and then Letty does it again. And then that's when Han shows up. But, oh, God. This movie is so tedious. Like, all the action scenes, even are just, I was just like, oh my God, just get to the quiet parts. When you're saying that in a Fast and Furious movie, that's a bad sign. It's just like, can we go back to the dialogue, please?
This guy wanted slow and serious, not fast. That's it. Okay, well, it's going to get even weirder if you ask me. If you thought that scene was bad in Tokyo. Suddenly we're in Cologne, Germany. And Sean, you brought him up earlier, JD. Sean Boswell from Tokyo Drift. Twinkie from Tokyo Drift. Little Bow Wow. A new guy, Earl.
He was in Tokyo Drift.
He was.
Oh, who's he?
Earl.
An associate. Yeah.
Hold on, I legit don't remember him. What did he do?
He was an associate of DK, was he not? Was he not in DK's gang, or?
Was he?
I think I thought he was an associate of Twinkie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought there was some crossover there.
What
But
do you mean
anyway,
associate? He like helped him like peddle like Jordans at school?
Maybe. They definitely went to school together, right?
Wow,
Yeah.
I did not
Let me
remember
see.
Earl at all. Okay.
I do. I remember that guy, Jason Tobin. He's actually a pretty good actor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought he was a new guy. I was like, that's a weird decision just to throw in a new guy. But then I was like, that's almost more believable. It's been a long time. You're going to pick up some new friends. But, okay, Roman and Tej show up to recruit them. They're working on a rocket car. Mm-hmm. Somebody says in this scene, I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That was the voice of the audience.
Yeah.
It was Nora sitting next to you.
No,
I'm
I think
confused.
it was Roman. But I was confused, Matt. This whole rocket stuff was so strange, and these are the Tokyo Drift guys. Did I miss an explanation?
Well, Dom does say, "Hey, Tej, Roman, I got some guys in Germany who can get you whatever you need," and they say, "On it."
All right, but
And then they go and meet.
So we just have to
Tokyo
take the
Drift.
leap of faith that these guys and their drifting have now been exploring building a rocket car.
Right, but the problem with the scene is that there's no shopping list that Roman and Tej have or anything. They're not there to ask for anything specific. They're just like, oh, hey, let's go meet up with these guys, and they happen to be working on a rocket car, right? Like, there's no other reason. Like, why are they there otherwise?
Even funnier than that, though, is they go up. They have the whole conversation about the rocket car. Then, cut to, you see that they show them the rocket car racing. They explain that they usually blows up.
Yeah.
And then, at the end of all that, they go, hey, we heard you know where to get some cars. And the guy's like, basically tells him to F off. And he's like, yeah, there's a Honda dealership 30 miles down the road or whatever. And then he's like, well, Dominic Toretto sent us. And then they're like, oh, man. So here's my question. If you're working on a secret rocket project, like, why would you be willing to show someone your secret rocket project but not tell them where to get a car?
Yeah.
That's, I guess, what. Also, well, we'll get to that in the space portion of it. But my only note from this is I haven't seen, as I explained on the last podcast, I hadn't seen Tokyo Drift since basically it came out. I did not rewatch it. Did they make the Sean way more yokely in this version?
I think they cranked it up. They cranked it up a little.
Yokely.
Yeah, he's always been a little.
Yeah.
He's a bit yokely.
Yeah, a little.
But he's like cartoonishly yokely. Like he was like well, hell, I'll do a say. Like he's half like Foghorn Leghorning.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think they amped it up. And yeah, JD said he looked quite different in his appearance. Little Bow Wow, not so little either anymore.
Just Bow Wow.
Just Bow Wow, which I think is what he's going by.
Yeah, I mean, a little meta commentary there when they're like, he used to go by the name Twinkie. I don't go by that name anymore.
Yeah.
And then you see in the credits, he's listed as Shad Moss rather than Bow Wow or Little Bow Wow. I liked that. But crazy to think Sean, a high school dropout, had to leave the United States, and now he's building a rocket. The guy is building a rocket in Germany.
He didn't drop out of school, did he?
Well, I mean, do you think he went back to school after becoming named the Drift King?
I would hope so.
I guess Morimoto was still going to high school when he was hanging with DK, the original. I think that one had graduated, but yeah, maybe he got his degree.
I mean, he's a rocket
point.
scientist and a pilot now. He definitely went back to school.
Okay, okay.
Right?
You think he got his PhD so he could be Dr. Drift King?
So
DDK.
Let's keep going here.
DDK.
In London, we're back to London. Dom meets Queenie Shaw, Helen Mirren, who gives him Jacob's location. She's stealing jewels and cars, and there's some backward driving in this, JD. There's some weird music in this, too.
Yeah, horns.
Yeah.
Horns.
It was just strange, that scene.
During the chase?
During the Helen Mirren with Dom scene.
Yeah.
The music gets all like circusy, and I don't know, it's tough to explain, but
I have to go
just
back.
a little jarring, I thought, to me. But she takes him to this party, this weird party.
Hold on. Was it a party? Like,
I don't know.
you have a bunch of hired women, let's call them dancers, I guess,
Yeah.
to dance around on the front lawn of your house.
Yeah, they're
There's
not
no
even
party
inside.
happening. There's nothing happening
What do you
inside
mean?
the house.
That's a yard party. That's almost like a block party, JD.
But there's no guests there. There's just girls who have been hired to hang out in front of the house, right?
Yeah. And it's definitely like, I guess it's a white party. You had to wear white. Everybody's wearing white.
Yeah.
Grisham could have shown up in his white belt. Fit right in. No, you're right. It's a strange party. Cars and women just dancing out front.
Show me a normal looking party in the Fastiverse. You can't find
you're
one.
right. You're right.
The only thing I was missing was they needed somebody there just wailing on guitar the whole time.
They needed that, and then like somebody with a bucket full of rats waiting in the back.
I love in movies when they're like, he's like, I'm looking for Jacob. He's like, oh, he's inside. You know, inside this giant mansion. This giant. Those are like 30 deleted scenes where like Dom walks through me like, hey man, oh sorry, I thought my estranged brother was in here. Never mind, carry on. Next scene. Hey, wait, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, I thought my brother was in here. Oh, do you know where he is? Okay. He just walks right into the correct room. Hello.
Well, Otto is outside, JD.
Yeah.
Because Dom meets him at the door. He's like, are you on the guest list here? Dom's like, the party's outside. Why would I have to go inside? I guess he meets a giant henchman too. Of course, he's gonna come into play a little bit later. But yeah, he gets inside. Matt's right. He finds his brother, who's just at a bar. There's no bartender. There's nobody else in this mansion, and they come face to face. And I laughed out loud at Dom yelling, "I showed you mercy!"
Yep.
And then so they have their thing, and then Interpol arrests him because he's at an embassy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Otto calls it in.
And
Trespassing.
then he's in jail, and then, we already slipped it in there, but it's a big, what the actual fuck? Why is Cardi B here? Who is she? And why is she helping Dom escape? And it is like, she gets literally a 3-minute scene. I don't even know what's 3 minutes, maybe less than that. Okay.
It's
JD, make sense
maybe.
of all this. What do you think?
I can't make sense of any of it. Yeah, that something's off. Well, I was like out right away when the dancing girls, because I had another look at this. I scrubbed through because I was like, I don't want to come into today's show and be the poison pill, and everyone's gonna love this movie, and I'm gonna be the one that hates it, and I didn't want to be that, so I put on my sound editor hat, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this through a sound editing because the sound is great in this movie, and so. But when I see the girls dancing out in front, I'm like, what are they doing there? Why are they hired there? And I know that they're moving and dancing to nothing, right? Like when you shoot a movie, that you're not hearing any music, and it looks like that. Right. So then we go up and they have their confrontation, and then Interpol comes in, and you know something's off right away because they're all totally masked up, and they come in so fucking weird, like the way they basically tiptoe, tit, and they're arresting Dominic, but they go in a semicircle behind Dominic, who's still pointing his gun at Jacob. It's like, why wouldn't you go on the side of Jacob? And and they just all. I'm like, these aren't Interpol. They can't be. They can't. This is somebody else for sure, right?
Wow, you sensed it.
I sensed that something was way off, and and then we get to the van, and was it implied that they were dancing girls who changed into
Yes,
Interpol?
it was,
because she says, "You should have seen me in that, or did you see me in my dress?" It's like, okay, well, we probably should have seen her in her dress, right, as the audience, right? Like,
I guess, but we would have been like, Cardi B.
Hey, that's Cardi B.
But that's fine, though. But that's fine. It's like, oh, there's Cardi B. Oh, there she is again.
T-Pain's DJing.
Yeah. So, but I'm still so confused. Dom sets this. Who set this up? Who set Cardi B up to then? But save
It's
him.
gotta be Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she shows up, and not only does she break Dom out, she also gives them a gun that's basically like, as soon as I hand you this, you're going to be able to find Jacob very, very easily. So,
even though you also just found him very, very easily.
Yeah, you were just talking to him. You were just at his house, but this will make it even easier if he's in a big crowd. Basically, anytime Mr. Nobody shows up, he just tells you the next thing that's going to happen in the movie. So she's a little bit of a Mr. Nobody substitute. My guess, yet another operative. Everybody, if you don't know their motivations, they're probably working for Mr. Nobody at this point.
Yeah, I guess.
Hold on. Does Cardi B say something, though, about the Dominican Republic?
Yes.
And
Yes, she does.
gas, right?
Yep. I don't know if pumping gas in DR. Yeah.
So it's like, a little thank you, I guess, for that time you took those tankers. We got our answer to that, JD. We were always wondering, did they just keep the gas for their cars? But
I'm so happy to hear that they shared some of it with Cardi B.
Yes. Okay, so Tej, Roman, and Ramsey join Dom in Scotland, where Jacob is using an electromagnet to steal the second Aries device. Oh, magnets are gonna play prominently here from here on out, I should say, in this movie. So Tej and Roman find the truck containing the electromagnet. As they fight Otto's men, they think it looks like they got it and they're in the clear, but then, whoops, nope. But Ramsey, who doesn't know how to drive, like JD said, she commandeers the truck to chase after Otto. Dom intercepts Jacob, who is getting the second part of the Nespresso pod to brew the perfect cup, and he is like zip lining through the city. They all fight throughout the city. Before Otto can extract Jacob, Ramsey runs his car off of the road, and then they use the electromagnet to capture Jacob. Magnets!
How do they work?
How do they work?
How do they work? Any
Just
way
turn a
you
dial,
need them
man.
to.
That's right.
Zoom. Turn it one way, they're flying towards you. Other way, get out of here.
Okay, I will say, pretty damn silly, pretty stupid, but anytime the magnets were used, like to suck a car or suck something else, I thought it looked cool, JD.
Yeah.
Like cars flying, and none of it ever really made a whole lot of sense because, like, why isn't that other item also being sucked up? But if you just forgot about that, cars being sort of sucked under other cars because of the magnets or pushed away or whatever, I thought looked cool. I thought for a lot of the time.
Sure, yeah. I mean, this is what they're good at. It better look good. But like Trey says, I mean, it's just they only work the way they're needed to work, and that's it. There's no other real collateral other than what they want to happen. It's just selective physics again with this franchise, which is fine. But I was so far gone, like, out of this movie at this point. I was just like, come on, like. Fine, magnets, great, but I didn't love it, but
you like the Ramsey truck part.
I liked that she couldn't drive, although, there's no way that she's getting that truck moving. If you don't know how to drive at all, right, and you're in Scotland, there's no way that that's an automatic transmission truck. In fact, they show the gas pedal and the brake, which is the square brake. That means there's a clutch. They purposefully blocked the clutch, but they did show her shifting gears. But she's not getting, like, all due respect to Ramsey, it's not that easy to get a car. If you don't know anything about driving a stick, you're not getting that car moving. It's not moving at all. So, that kind of takes me out of it. But I did love the bit that she couldn't drive. So it was funny. That part of it was kind of funny. And her behind the wheel, apologizing, and then that was your fault, that was my fault. I kind of bought into that a little bit.
Were those prescription sunglasses on her? Because if you've never driven before, I don't think you should be driving in sunglasses.
Nah,
Trey, that's just me.
You think that should be one of the requirements?
I think so.
You gotta be 16 to be able to drive with regular glasses.
Yeah.
18 to drive with sunglasses on, a little harder. What about the glare though? You also wouldn't want glare if it's your first time behind the wheel.
No, there were shots where it was very cloudy. It was in Scotland.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Right.
I'm with JD on this one. I loved her explaining why she couldn't drive, especially considering in the last movie we're like, hey, let her drive. Why shouldn't she should be driving as well? So they gave her something to do from a driving standpoint. She was doing more hacking in this one like we were talking about early. I thought this was a great movie for Ramsey, and also a couple of hilarious moments during this set piece. For me, anytime they showed Jacob on the 6 or 7 block long zip line hanging by one hand, I laughed every single time. I was like, look at this idiot using a harpoon the way you're supposed to use it. Shoot it at a car, dummy. And then when Ramsey sucks him through an entire store, his vehicle, I thought that was really funny too. So there were a couple of over-the-top parts that I liked, and I thought the character work for Ramsey was really nice.
Matt, thoughts on the whole magnet scene here?
The only thing I have to contribute is when Tej and Roman are in that square looking, and they're talking to Ramsey, I guess, in their ears, and one of them makes a comment about this is Where's Waldo, something, something. I swear to God, there's a guy in the background that looks exactly like Waldo.
Yeah.
But he's wearing blue stripes instead of red stripes.
I noticed that too. I was like, is this a costume party or something going on here for a second? But everybody else is dressed normal.
Yeah, they don't really allude to it, but I was I think that's what an Easter egg is.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think so. I think you're totally right. But that scene also bugged me because Roman, who at this point, he's been around the world a couple of times, right? But Scotland is giving him the creeps. He's like, this place is creepy. It's like a Harry Potter. I'm getting the creeps over here. There's 2 women wearing 1,700 wigs over here. It's just no, he'd be fine with it, I think. He's been, a world traveler at this point. It's not that weird. I don't know why are you dunking on the Scottish,
By the way, one of the most beautiful days in Edinburgh I've ever seen.
Yeah, the weather in this one.
Bright, sunny day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. If you've ever been there, it's always raining.
Oh, okay. Well, Otto then recruits Cypher. And at the safe house, Han reveals that he was assigned to protect El and Aries, as El's DNA is its final component. This is where we get a flashback again. The Han reveal of what's going on with him and why he's all roped up in this Aries thing. It's this L Trey. It's this again who he ends up, we're led to believe, of course, taking under his wing after what goes on in him stealing the device and knowing that she's the key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we find out she's the key, which I'm just happy they brought somebody new into the franchise and somebody young. Because, one of the things that sticks out to me in this is that we need a little bit of new blood here around the Fast and Furious crew. They don't give Elle a whole bunch to do, but that's kind of how it's gone in these movies. The first time you make an appearance, you're doing some light action work, you get a couple of lines, and then they blow your role out. Hopefully that happens for her going forward, but I was happy in this scene that they finally mentioned Giselle, for the first time in ages, especially, had they been talking about being invincible the entire time. I'm like, Giselle wasn't invincible. Could we ever just mention her once?
Right.
Well, apparently she was working with Mr. Nobody, as was Han. Mr. Nobody also faked Han's death, and Jacob also was working for Mr. Nobody. I was like, wow, man, this guy is busy. He has talked to every operative you could possibly imagine. I gotta laugh when Jacob says to Dom, don't you wonder how Mr. Nobody found you? I'm like, Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a great point by Jacob. Why in the world would you target the DVD stealer to be the guy who's stealing your nuclear launch codes eventually? But there's always another level in Fast and Furious, and that was what this scene to me was like, pulling back. Like, how far can we possibly go back? Are we going to get to the scene with... you think Mr. Nobody faked Han's death, but we pull back, and somebody has a gun to the head of Mr. Nobody. It's like, the planets meme. Was it always a fake death? Always has been. Actually, it was me. Right. Actually, it was me.
Yeah. I liked the hug it out for Han. I liked everybody hugging Han. That was fun when he did show up to see everybody. And then back to the auto recruiting Cypher part there too. JD, you must have been loving this scene. There was like 3 Star Wars references, 4 Star Wars references between Otto and Cypher. It was crazy how many there were.
Yeah, the whole conversation was about Star Wars. And then Cypher rips his heart out by ruining his childhood, by revealing that Yoda is actually just a puppet. It's great. I liked when he was in a fury and he comes into the base and he's like, "Get me X-Wing fighters, get me this, get me Chewbacca." It's like, how about an actual order? Like, tell me something I actually can do. Like, get me Chewbacca if you can afford him. Okay.
Very weird. Very weird.
Such a strange bit of dialogue. I mean, played for comedy, obviously, but yeah, it's good stuff.
You didn't want to nerd out and go. Actually, since the George Lucas prequels, Yoda is not actually a puppet; he's a CGI creation.
That's exactly what I did. Excuse me. Yoda is a Jedi Master, and like. This guy was a huge dork about Star Wars. I mean, he wouldn't like come to that suddenly. He would be like, immediately like, "Oh, the little green guy." He would never say that. He would say, "Oh, well, thank you very much. You're talking about the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy."
It's the greatest compliment you could give him.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Why would Han go steal the thing while everyone's home? Did that not... Was that?
Well, no, they were
on their way out.
It was raining.
Okay, but that means to get into the house, he got in while they were all there, because then he sees them leave from the top window where he is.
Yeah. You're right.
And then she comes.
And then
back
I
in
also
for
like
her
in
raincoat.
the sort of backstory about like Han dying, but he didn't really die. There's another moment that we've never seen where he looks like he dies. Like he gets shot like 4 times. Does he not?
Oh yeah. 100%.
I mean, and he's on the floor, looks like he's dying, and he looks over at Elle, and she's like, and then, Han protected me. And I'm like, but didn't you probably take him out of there and fix him up and take him to a hospital? Or I think you should pat yourself on the back, really. Also, completely insane of her parents to make her the key to unlock this deadly device. Like, you think that's keeping the device safe? Well, it's putting your daughter in a lot of danger.
Yeah.
So
they didn't know about
think
family
that
at that point,
Yeah.
Or maybe they knew too much.
All right. Yeah. So we'll keep going here. Otto attacks the safe house and frees Jacob, who reveals that Jack, that's Dad Toretto, remember, wanting to escape his debts, instructed Jacob to tamper with his car so he could intentionally throw the race. This is bringing us back to the beginning of this podcast when we were talking about all that. The plan failed due to Linder's interference, and Jacob and Otto then kidnap Elle and take the second Aries device. So they've got it all now. They've got all the pieces at this point. They've got the two devices, as we call them, and the key, which is Elle. Anything from this scene here and like just the reveal? Yeah, no, not a lot. Matty's shaking his head. Trey, anything you want to add?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. I'll keep going because Otto launches a satellite into orbit.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
While Jacob has Elle activate Aries. She is the key, remember. They begin uploading times in this world in Fast and Furious franchise. It's not that fast. I don't know what operating system they're working with here, but they need an upgrade. It's a little too slow. But they begin uploading Aries to the satellite, moving throughout. We're in Georgia, I think, right? The country, not the state here. In an armored truck. Why are they moving?
Yeah.
I mean, I know why for the movie, so we can have another car scene, but
my impression was that they were trying to get away because he says this place is going to be crawling with cops soon because of something to do with the rocket, which was that the satellite being launched into space?
Oh yeah,
because then it seemed like the satellite was already in space, so I'm not sure what that rocket was.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's got to be the satellite. I think.
I guess it got deployed pretty quick for Roman and Tej to get there, but okay. But I think I had the same question, Skeets, and my only answer to myself is that they're getting away from the cops, right? Like they're making their escape in the most conspicuous vehicle there is. Like there's no more conspicuous.
This thing is huge, yeah.
But going back to the base, you skipped over the part where Dom takes on all the goons, right? Like, inexplicably, they're making their mistake.
The dream sequence. Oh,
yeah. So they're making their escape.
I totally forgot.
And he says, go tell Brian, I'm here.
I'm always here.
And Letty's like, which Brian? But then she closes the door, and then he's like a Herculean effort to keep these goons away. She doesn't have the courtesy to run away, right? Like she just watches all of this, and then he drowns basically, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then we get the dream sequence where everything becomes clear. I don't know why didn't he just escape? I didn't understand the motivation there. Like, does anybody know?
To be honest, I have no answers for the next 4 paragraphs that are on this rundown.
You mean
This
why
is
did
when-
he?
This is
why
when the
did he
natural
fight
Nas
them?
really start kicking in.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't he just go through that door, close it, barricade it from the inside, and then they make their escape, right? Like,
I do. Maybe is it possible that door that Letty was hiding behind, watching Dom kick ass, that it didn't go anywhere?
I thought it was just a room.
It's just like a,
oh.
So she actually can't even go anywhere right there. Hence why he wouldn't get in there too, because they would just come and open the door.
I guess.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I thought was too. But I thought he was trying to protect her. Like, here, I'm gonna go fight 30 guys.
Yeah,
right.
You
and you
stay
get
safe
away
here. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, but get away
after.
after I take out everybody. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it's a high risk plan for sure.
Okay. But then you got the whole gang is in there. They could go out and help him, right? Or I don't know. Anyways, that was just a question I had.
But the whole I don't know, where are they? They're in a silo of some sort or something. And it all starts to, fall down, and because he's got all these guys wrapped up in chains and he's killing them left and right, throwing them over. But then down goes Dom, and we get Letty. Oh no! And the dream sequence, Trey. What do you think about that? Where Dom is Dom's taking an L here. At least he's like on the verge of death, I guess.
Oh yeah, I totally thought he was gone for good here.
Some of it was.
Yeah, I wrote down major LOLs for this entire sequence because to me it just shows us once again Dom is usually pretty gung-ho on trusting his instincts. He thought he visualized seeing Letty die just because he went and saw the paint scratches and the tire burns on the road.
Right.
Completely botched that one.
Yep.
So now he's convinced that his brother murdered his dad because he gave him a weird look the last day they saw him together. As it turns out, his brother was in on it, but it was his dad who was a little bit of a nefarious character. So, personally, I came away from this thinking, Dom, you need to slow down, buddy. You don't need to immediately go head on into the plan here. If you take a second and just think things through, you'll probably come to the right answer eventually. But his first instincts don't usually seem to be right. Like, for instance, Vince tells him, don't take in Brian. He's like, no way. I'm rolling with this guy. No way he's a cop. He was a cop. Right. I would love a list of just things that Dom misinterpreted the first time he ever saw it and pushed all of his chips in. Because, it's like this exact same thing. If Letty's in a room, he's like, the only way out of this is 1 on 30.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, wait a second, man. I know you love to improvise. Take a second.
Yeah.
Think it through. What about 2 on 30? That might be better.
Yeah.
Not for Dom.
I think we were talking about this on Fast 5, Matt, the last time you were on. can Dom swim? Was a topic.
Well,
of
I guess not.
I know. I think it really drives it home. No, he fell from a pretty high height, and he's done that before, and he's managed to get out of the water, though he usually gets some help. But I'm all in on Dom can't swim. I would like to run with that. I don't think
It's
he can.
very possible. They're like.
He's always got big combat boots on too.
That's true.
That's
That's true.
a
It's
good
true.
point.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm unconscious when I hit the water, so I don't even have to try to swim out of this silo.
Letty saves him, brings him back from the afterlife, or him crossing over, or whatever his dream sequence was there, and they're okay. He doesn't need long to recover, that's for sure, because we get Dom, Letty, Mia, Ramsey, and Han giving chase to stop this upload to this gigantic armored truck that has L on it, right, as well. As Mia and Han try to breach the truck, Otto betrays Jacob, throwing him off of the truck. Yeah, he sends up his crazy giant henchman there.
Well, man, this hit so hard because Otto was such a well thought out, well drawn character, and I was like, oh no, they betrayed each other. No, just kidding. I was like, who's that? That guy sucks. The guy is the most boring. I actually won't even give him the satisfaction of saying he was like a stock villain, because he wasn't even that. He was worse than a stock villain.
You're talking about Otto.
Yeah.
Was
Otto.
there a villain in this movie? Really?
Great question, JD. Well, see, who is the villain? Is it Cypher? Is it Mr. Nobody?
I mean, it's a great question. I mean, I only felt pity for Jacob the whole time. If he was the main villain, that they didn't do a good job. Like, he wasn't menacing in any way. He was just like this lost little boy who was always in his brother's shadow, as if Cypher confronts him about that earlier in the movie, like, always living in your brother's shadow. It's just like, well, how would you know that, A, and B, like, what? He's a grown man now. He hasn't seen his brother in years, like 30 years, right? So, anyways, I just thought the motivation for John Cena's character it just doesn't really make him a villain to me. Cypher is barely in it. Otto is just a caricature of a rich prick, as he calls himself. So, who's the villain? Who are we fighting here? The Otto's dad, who we never meet?
Kinda.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Jacob got thrown off the truck, but don't worry, Dom caught him. All he does, he's goddamn good at that. Dom and me, I guess, save Jacob. Yeah, and then he helps Dom, Jacob does, access the truck.
Did this, to you, count as an under the semi move? Because they're kind of underneath this gigantic semi-like transport, and they flip it over.
Right.
Somehow they flip it over. So they go into the transport, the semi, from the bottom, but it's really the top. Is this an under the semi move?
Jesus.
Does it count?
No, it doesn't.
Disqualified. Tough.
Yeah.
The only thing that sort of comes close is when the semi or the transport is flipping over, Dom has to go under it while it's falling to rescue Jacob.
Yeah.
I mean, I would count that almost more than going from the reverse.
Okay.
But
I'll
and
allow it.
backing up a bit, Han blows up a guy who is inexplicably wearing a parachute. Was he wearing that parachute? Like, was that?
Yeah.
And if so, why?
Just looks cool.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about the magnet part, right? When we're on the I can't remember actually.
Yeah,
anymore.
he
I'm
blew
getting all confused.
Uh-oh, you broke Skeets.
Falling apart over here.
Hold on. Who opened a truck at one point, and because of the parachute, I thought it was, gets sucked out and has a bomb attached to him or something.
That's Han.
This is happening here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But also, there was a bunch of magnets involved when Ramsey was driving the truck and Roman and Tej are fighting in the back.
Yeah,
that's earlier.
I think at that point they have the giant magnets in the back of Ramsey's truck.
Yeah.
And eventually they take those magnets and put it in to their cars.
Right.
For this, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
God.
So, but that's a good question, though. The magnets that are affecting the fight with Han and El and the guy with the parachute, that magnet is coming from Han's car. Is that right? That's holding the car
one
in
that's
place.
like sucked under. Yeah, I think
right.
so.
Backwards,
Right.
yep.
Yeah.
And then Han turns into Butterfingers because he grabs a knife and that's gone. Then he grabs a gun.
Right,
That's
right.
gone.
Yeah.
And then he manages to get the bomb to stick, and then the parachute. He hits the door, parachute deployed. Guy blows up. Spectacular looking, but why?
Why did his parachute go?
Why
Yeah.
is there a parachute?
Safety first.
And then that's the car. Is that the car that Jacob gets into?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was a funny scene. Like, they showed us a lot of how the guy got in the car, I thought.
Yeah, it was extended. I noticed
It was like, all right, he's going to step here to here. And like, it felt like me, like, anytime I go on, like, a kid's playground, I love to see if I can not touch the bottom, like, where you should step on a playground, but, like, try and, like, just keep yourself, what's the best way to say it? Like, sort of in the air.
Right.
Sure,
Only
hot
on
lava.
the guardrails. Yeah, hot
Yeah,
lava.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah. That's sort of what he's doing here. And they really
Yeah.
showed it to us.
Yeah, maybe because it was John Cena, right? Like, he was actually doing the stunt, I guess.
Right.
So
Yeah, maybe.
I guess, but I don't know.
Okay.
But I did notice that shot too, where it's just lingering on him forever. It was just like gingerly making his way into the car in the back. So
Right.
weird. Very weird. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Check out betterhelp.com/nodunks. Life, whew, it's full of stressors. Everybody's got some stress in their lives. But sometimes it's not that obvious. You know, you don't feel particularly down or depressed. You think you're fine. Besides, you got work to do and you don't have time for any of this crap. Then you catch yourself yelling at your wife for eating the last donut. Then she reminds you that you actually ate the last donut last night, and maybe this really isn't about the donut. And she's right. It's not about the donut. Is this a true story? Perhaps, but that's not the point. The point is, your stress can creep up on you and shorten your temper and put strain on your relationships. It's time to talk to someone. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Unload the stressors and get some unbiased feedback. You'd be pretty surprised what you might gain from it. You know what? Just see if it's for you. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and No Dunks listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's BETTERHELP.com/nodunks.
If you've ever dreamed of having the chance to win awesome prizes like a trip to Japan, a signed guitar from Bruce Springsteen, or even a DeLorean DMC-12, then you have to check out Omaze, the new way to give back to charity and have fun doing it. Here's how Omaze works. You enter for the chance to win something amazing, and at the same time, you can donate to support great causes. It's a fun and easy way for nonprofits to raise money and for you to win big prizes, like a customized Jeep Wrangler. Go to omaze.com/nodunks and select the Jeep Wrangler or a different experience of your choosing. Once you've selected your prize, choose a donation amount from $10 to $150. The more you donate, the more entries you'll get. Next thing you know, you've got a chance to take that Jeep Wrangler out to rip some whips. Through your donations, Omaze has raised more than $150 million to support over 350 nonprofits around the world. Omaze was named in Fast Company's 2020 Most Innovative Companies and featured on Good Morning America, The Today Show, and Stephen Colbert. Everyone deserves the chance to live their dreams, and with Omaze, extraordinary prizes are within reach for everyone. Enter today for your chance to win the custom Jeep Wrangler or other life-changing prizes and experiences at omaze.com/nodunks. Plus, you'll receive 20 extra entries when you enter code NODUNKS. That's omaze.com/nodunks.
Back to Tej and Roman. Back to the rocket car. They're on it. And they are entering orbit, and they destroy a satellite to stop the upload.
Yep. That happened.
Oh, man. Wow.
Some of the all-time great breadcrumbs here. What are we going to do? Put rockets on our back? Yeah, maybe because there was a line earlier in the movie. Is that a rocket on the back of that car? So smooth. So smooth, man.
God.
So smooth.
Yeah. If you were not already out on this movie by this point... As funny, sort of, I think, and as charismatic as the two of them are, like, they have grown at me a little bit. The two of their I'm talking about, obviously, Ludacris and Tyrese. Like, they're you know, on camera chemistry. Yeah, banter. It's like, it's not that
They've
bad.
gotten better. They've gotten better.
Yeah. But it's just, of course, like, trying to, like, believe this is at all possible is amazing. And, like, the suits they're in. And though there is a little throwaway line, too. One of them, probably Tej, says, like, you know, we should be okay. We might blow up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, we might balloon up. And then, yeah, well, of course, that's the payoff once they stumble upon the International Space Station.
That's the lamest payoff in the movie, I think, is just like, okay, cool, we're going to get a little spacewalk here. I thought they were going to get out of the car and, like, hack the satellite or whatever, or do something to it.
They just drive through it.
Right.
Which they're like, we might blow up. Like, this could be it for us.
I guess. But in zero gravity, wouldn't them bumping into it just bump it off of orbit? Like, just, like, there's nothing...
He nosed it, didn't he?
Oh, he nosed it, baby.
I know, but still, I don't think they would just crash through it like that. It was like a brick wall.
I don't know, man.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I stopped taking notes at this point.
Yeah, me too.
But so from what I've heard, like, this is just a big joke that since the franchise started, or I guess since it started getting crazy, people were like, oh, you got to send him to space next. Because, you know, like, we've been talking about how it's been a tank, and then skydiving cars, and then, like, you know, a submarine. It gets ratcheted up.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you should go to space. You should go to space. So I can't figure out if I'm just like, is it just badly executed or is it just a dumb idea to start with, or what's happening here?
Am I just idea? I mean, okay. It's in the movie because it's a dumb idea, and it's like gonna get some laughs, and like you said, they just have to keep going to the next level. But come on!
But it didn't feel like going to the next level because it was so lame. Once, like, the execution of it and what they had to do was so. It was way lamer than a submarine coming up out of the ice, or a tank, or trying to bring down a plane with cars. I mean, it was lame, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay,
totally.
that's all I
agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're the heroes, and they're up there flying around in space. Meanwhile, Cypher, remotely flying a jet, bombs the truck, right? Killing Otto in an attempt to kill Dom. But Dom uses the rolling, ricocheting truck to destroy Cypher's plane. We then, of course, learn it. Cypher's not actually in the plane. She's just playing some video games. Yes, and she just steps out and walks away. Wow. JD.
Wow.
You have no notes, you said.
I got no notes here other than when they flip the truck, when they flip the transport, it actually goes faster, right? You think that it's going to stop. Like, let's stop this thing. What can we do? Let's flip it.
Flip it.
Then it goes faster. Like, it literally, to be fair, it starts sliding down a mountain or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, I was hoping it was over at the flip, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. Nope. And he set it up perfectly, Trey, to take out that plane.
Incredible bit of driving right there to be able to scorpion that bad boy right into the drone. I'll say I liked this drone better than the previous drone.
Yeah.
I think it's because you don't know it until the end of the scene that it is a drone, right? You're like, wow, Cypher's actually there battling Dom, and it looks like she's got the drop on him because now he's having to avoid these missiles that are launching at him. But obviously Dom finds a way to wriggle his way out of it, and it turns out Cypher was just hanging out in an empty garage all by herself. Like, she's just hanging around for this? Like, apparently Otto's henchmen are gone. but she still wants to finish the mission here, I guess, because it looks like a very fun video game, to be quite honest. Like, that would be awesome to be doing, I suppose. But also, you were just getting hunted down by Mr. Nobody to begin this movie. You had to have Jacob Toretto come and break you out of a mid-air heist here. Just go underground, maybe. You know, go get another haircut, play it cool. I know you want to get your revenge on Dom, but there's more movies coming. Save it.
I did laugh at the set decoration of when she gets out of the plane. It's just like a tiny, flimsy set of stairs right next to it in an empty room. Like the saddest.
Where is everyone?
The saddest walk down the saddest stairs.
Well, Dom and Mia reconcile with Jacob, their brother, and Dom allows him to escape in his car, just like what happened in the first movie. The Brian allowing Dom to escape, the old 10-second car. Here you go. So he lets him take it. Off goes Jacob. Like I said, Tej and Roman reach the International Space Station. They are safely returned to Earth, and we start wrapping this up with the only way the Torettos know how to do. Have a bit of a little feast at the end. They're rebuilt the house, or rebuilding the house.
Yeah.
Which is nice to know that Matty O can run over there and take another photo in the future. They celebrate their success here at the barbecue, Dom's house, and we're gonna make little Brian do grace this time. Yeah, that's right. And lo and behold, who pulls up in the driveway? This is
Big Brian.
Led to believe, that it's Big Brian O'Connor arriving in his blue car there as he pulls up into the driveway. Never, of course, see him. We do have a mid-credit scene. Is there anything to talk about with the barbecue that I just can't believe how many times we've done this in this franchise?
Right.
Like, has anyone been keeping track? This got to be the fifth one.
At least.
Yeah. I know not everyone ended like this, but so many have ended with the let's sit down, we're a family. Well, you know, everybody's good. Everybody can catch up. Everybody can get a little couple funny lines in if you're a comedic character, and then let's do grace. I mean, it's 5 at least, I think. Anyway, JD, what were you going to say?
Well, I agree that it's happened almost every time. One thing that I did like, I liked the reunion between Sean and Han. Like, just... the first time they've seen each other, and I was like, okay, this is nice. Because I loved Tokyo Drift, and it was not. But in spite of myself, I was happy to see Sean and Twinkie and Jason and Earl. Even though you don't remember it.
I don't remember Earl.
Big Earl heads.
There's going to be a Justice for Earl trending after this podcast. Me forgetting about him. I'm with you, JD. I loved it. It was way more like a way more emotional scene.
Yeah.
Sean and Han seeing each other than anything involving Dom and Han seeing each other. Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's a good point.
And I think kind of at that point, like, I don't know, for me, I was like, oh yeah, they've kind of been sort of both around in the universe since the third movie. I mean, not so much for Sean, but I mean, he's been around now. This is his second time coming back, but they haven't actually interacted together. So yeah, I was like, oh, cool. This is great to actually see them together, seeing each other. You know, I guess in movie time, it's probably like 5 years. In real life, it's like 15 years, obviously. And I like how they get around, like, we don't need to hear Han explain how he died and came back to life once again. So he just says to him, it's a long story. Let's just enjoy the moment. I was like, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one, Han.
Matt, anything to add?
No notes.
No notes. Okay. Well,
who's living in that house? Actually, that's my one question.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, why they're there, but there's no interior of that house.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but I mean, weren't Brian and Mia living in that house when it got blown up? And wasn't Dom living there with them? Because remember, he comes out of the house and he's like, "Oh, package from Han."
Right. Yeah, you're right.
That's when it gets
so
exploded.
were they all living there together? And then when it blew up, Dom and Letty moved out to the country, and then Brian and Mia moved to wherever it is they live.
The beach.
And now I guess they're gonna rebuild it, and they're all at least Dom and me. Why did I even ask this question?
Yeah. Look, the
We'd
answer
have to
is
check with the commissioner, but I think that Dom has the deed.
Yeah.
He got it when he said his price was $13.27.
Right.
Okay.
Fast and Furious 10 will be Dom and Jacob and Mia arguing over who actually owns the house and the property. We got one mid-credit scene. It is Deckard, who's doing some work on the punching bag. There's a guy in it.
just straight up torturing a guy.
A little weird, but knock on the door, and yes, Han arrives at the door, and they have a little quick, just face to face, and that's the cliffhanger, JD. So, what will this mean? My gut says Han is not going to be, coming looking for trouble. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
But we need to settle the score, I guess.
I think that Han is there to recruit Shaw into doing something.
Okay.
You owe me, man. And Shaw even said in Hobbs and Shaw, I have a lot to atone for, or I have a lot to make up for. There's things that I regret, is basically what he's said in the past. So, and I think that, we know that that's specifically referring to killing Han, what he thought was killing Han. So I think he's just gonna be like, I need you for something, and then Shaw's gonna be like, I'm in, let's do this. Leaves, guy in the bag dies, I guess, or whatever.
Hold on, I gotta go unzip this guy real quick before we get down to business.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping that's what it is, because I would love to see Shaw and Han working together, because I love those two characters, and
right.
I don't want to see them.
So you're hoping for a Han and Shaw, not a Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or Han in Hobbs and Shaw, or something. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Han and Dex.
Yeah.
Dex Han. All right. Yeah, no, you're probably right. I think this will pay off, I guess, is what you're getting at here.
Right.
Where either, Deckard will owe him something, or they'll just work together, or whatever, and we'll be off and running. Anything to add to that mid-credit scene there, Trey?
If Han is going to somehow make his way into the Hobbs and Shaw universe, sign me up. I was feeling the exact same way. There's the line, like JD mentions in Hobbs and Shaw, that he's saying he has to atone for it. Like Matt is saying, Han's return was a big part of Justin Lin coming back. The guy loves making movies with his buddy Han, apparently. So, yeah, it seems that, the Fast and Furious fandom and the director wants some sort of revenge for Han, but as we know now, Shaw's kind of on the team. How are they going to go about it? If it takes place in a Hobbs and Shaw movie, that would be incredible. I don't think that's going to be the case, but even if it's in Fast 10, sure. I mean, getting Han to interact with these characters that he doesn't really know much at all. Like, Deckard and him haven't shared a scene together except for a fake scene, so let's see what happens.
Han needs to grow his hair out again, though.
Like a better long.
You think?
He looks so much cooler with the long hair to me.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, please do that, Han. Okay. That's the movie. Let's do the Fast and the Furious. Things you liked. JD, you get us started. What did you like the most about this movie?
Not a lot, if I'm being honest. Like I said, I liked Han and Sean reuniting at the end. When I scrubbed through this morning with my sound editing hat on, I enjoyed the sound in this movie. The sound effects are cool.
Oh, boy. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Well, hey, it is pretty amazing when you think that the only sound that they can use on set is the dialogue, right? That's all. The only sound that is used from the actual set. So you watch some of these action sequences, and the sound effects are amazing. Like they do such a great job of just bringing it to life. I mean, just mute it and watch it. That's what they're looking at half the time. The sound editors and the mixers and stuff, and I think they do a great job. But this is the case with every movie, so tip of the cap to the people.
I was going to say you made it sound like
job.
you made it sound like they had to do it differently than every other movie.
No, they don't. It's but I'm just scraping the barrel here like that. And I enjoyed the Star Wars references. Yes, you mentioned them. There is actually, and speaking of sound, there is definitely some sound effects from Star Wars in the movie. There's the Millennium Falcon shutting down or like breaking down in one of the scenes. There's I'm pretty sure there's a TIE fighter blaster shot. There's a Wilhelm scream, which is in a lot of movies, but there's definitely one hidden in there. So that was pretty cool, you know. But other than that, I don't have a favorite scene or anything. I don't have a favorite quote. None of it. I'm just like, ugh.
Do you think it's possible, JD, that we get a crossover movie? Star Wars and Fast and the Furious?
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Disney has to buy Fast and Furious. That's what has to happen. And then we're going to get Fast and Furious and Avengers, Fast and Furious Star Wars, Fast and Furious. Oh, the possibilities are endless.
Oh, goodness. Can't wait. Okay. Matty O, we'll go to you next. The fast part of the podcast, things you liked.
I'll say the first set piece in Central America was my favorite, mostly by process of elimination. And
not a fan of magnets.
It was great. It's great to hear Roman say my ass is in fuego. And something I really like, very small thing. I love the way that Helen Mirren says Dominic Toretto. Dominic Toretto. Toretto. And you know,
sounds familiar.
That sums it up.
All right. Wow. So far, we're talking about Helen Mirren saying Toretto and the sound guys.
Oh, one more thing that I liked. Yeah. I liked Roman sort of being the meta voice of the audience. Especially when Han sits down to get to his flashback story and explain how he's there. And Roman is literally saying what I'm saying out loud. Just get to the part where you didn't blow up, right? Like, that's all we really care about is tell us how you're alive, right?
Yeah.
But then the whole thing of, I thought there was a bit of a blown opportunity where he's just having this sort of this crisis of conscience or whatever it is, where he's like, are we invincible? Like, is it possible that we're invincible? Oh, it's possible. Or it's possible you're a dumbass. Wackety wackety wack, you know, like I don't know.
Seinfeld theme. What?
But I think the score literally does that. On to the next scene.
Okay, Trey, what about you? What did you like about this?
Oh, I liked many things. I did like young Dom and Jacob. I love seeing the crew as they would have been like forming, even though they left out Leon, but fair enough. He didn't really do much in the first movie. I thought it was a great movie for Ramsey. Like Matt, I also loved the jungle scene. I thought it was a nice little play on the trope of going across the rickety bridge. Now we're doing it with cars. That was good for me. As for a scene, the scene that I most wish I had seen in theaters is when they go and meet Sean, Earl, and Twinkie. And they're talking, and, at the very end, Roman and Tej say, Dominic Toretto sent us. And they're all like, oh. And then Earl says, who's Dominic Toretto?
Right.
That, to me, would have absolutely killed in the theater. Yeah. Oh, I would have been loving to yuck it up for that one. That was the single best joke in this to me. And not a surprise that it comes from somebody who's kind of like, oh, this guy is part of the universe? Okay, great. It's certainly add or remove. Less things I liked in this than in a general Fast and Furious. And I don't know. I feel like it's an early peaker as well, and that's bad for me when it comes to scoring.
Yeah. And again, apologies to Earl. I forgot about you. So I can't believe you were in Tokyo Drift. I don't remember. Okay, the Furious part. What made you angry or the dumbest scene? I mean, you can throw in any random observations if you want to. Matt, we'll start with you.
Well, I was nervous when you asked me to come on for the first one because I didn't want to come on and talk about it if I hated it, and I thought I was going to hate it. But I was like, you know what? This is a perfectly good action movie.
Fast Five.
Unfortunately, Fast Five. This one I really hated because they ruined it. Like, John Cena sucks. Otto sucks. Like, there's a scene when Dom goes to see Helen Mirren. I'm sorry, I never remember what Helen Mirren's name is in this.
Queenie.
And she's like, Queenie, and she's like, are you looking for my son? And he's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, be looking for her son. Be looking for her son. And he's like, no. I'm like, oh, God damn it. Cena sucks. Otto sucks. Where's The Rock? Where's Statham? I hated the Han flashback. Like, this idea that they were like, geez, we got to keep having Han in these movies. So they rewrite the whole timeline of the franchise to keep having Han. Till finally they're like, they got to deliver on this promise of him saying, well, I got to go to Tokyo. I got to go to Tokyo. So now they're like, well, okay, now we got to explain the whole thing. And that was what you came up with. It's like, Mr. Nobody, work some magic. What's the magic? Who knows? So
it's always the easiest out.
Why did you
It's
need
Mr.
to
Nobody
do that
can
much?
like be the answer for anything. It's like
Anyways, so I really did not like this. And then another movie of Cypher in a cage. Not down with it.
Okay. Trey, we'll go to you. What made you furious?
They don't even mention Hobbs in this movie. His name doesn't even come up. That's crazy to me.
Wow.
Like, I mean, even if you don't like him, he's still a part of the world.
Yeah.
He's gonna be coming back. Like, The Rock has said, yeah, I'm in for Fast 10. Probably just had to let, tensions cool down for a little bit here, but he's gonna be back.
I don't think he is.
Yeah,
I don't
is
think
he allowed?
I think
he's not allowed?
I think there was an article in Entertainment Weekly the last month saying, I'm not coming back. He says he's not coming back.
But will he do another Hobbs and Shaw?
Yes, I believe he is in for Hobbs and Shaw, but he's not coming back to Fast and Furious.
So that means we're getting 2 more of these movies at least that are not having The Rock in it.
The Rock is not
They gotta
coming
bring him back. They're bringing him back. He says no. Vin says no. He's coming back. He's got to. They're missing him big time. They're missing him. They're missing Jason Statham, like you're saying, Matt. Ryan Reynolds, like, he has no relation to this franchise yet at all, but, like, he would have been a huge help here. It's just so serious, the entire movie, except for when it's Roman and Tej. And to me, they're just explaining what's happening. Like, isn't this crazy what we're doing? Where really it should be us who are watching this and being like, wow, this is crazy what they're doing. Because that's what it's like when you're watching Fast 5 and they're driving with the safe behind and they're smashing into everything. You're like, wow. I had never thought about that as a stunt for them to do. And this, it's more like, wouldn't that be funny if they go to space? Yeah. Oh, they're in space, talking about how it's funny that they went to space.
Yeah.
And that's what it is to me. It's just, they're trying to do everything that everybody's been talking about for 20 years. The stuff that works, I think works when, like, that's why I like the going back in time stuff. It's like, oh, that's something that you have been talking about and people are kind of curious about. Let's see what it would look like. That hit to me, but, the other stuff, it's just like, oy, chill out, Vin Diesel. We're trying to have fun here, and you're trying to make a serious thing. And it's like, you can tell what's going on when you call the movie The Saga. This should not be a saga. This is like a romp or an adventure. Like, it's supposed to be a fun popcorn movie, not with, like, these heavy themes of saviors and death, I don't think. It's just like, chill out a little bit, have some fun. Your head's just a little bit up your ass at this point.
JD, can you pick just one thing that made you furious?
No, and Matt and Trey pretty much summed it up. It's just they want to service everybody. You can't please everybody. And then at the same time, Matt said it earlier, you're letting a maniac dictate who is and who isn't in this movie and who shines and who doesn't shine in the movie. And then you're also trying to stay meta, but also keep a character who the actor has actually passed away alive, right? You can't have it both ways, right? Like, the audience knows that Paul Walker has passed away. Brian, we know he's never coming back. It's just such a huge wrench in the operation, as Trey said earlier, and it's just a disaster, I think, in writing, and coming off of Hobbs and Shaw, which I loved and I gave it 10. This is just, God, what a chore to watch this. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and I had to remind myself, you know what, I'm kind of getting paid to do this, so I'm getting paid to watch this movie, sort of. They didn't hire me to do this, but this is what I'm doing.
Right. Well, that's what's so disappointing, that this is our last one here of this epic all summer long watch here of all the movies from the franchise. Like, this one is one of the worst, and like, we're ending on such a boy, that was actually horrible, and there's not a lot of great things to say about it, and it wasn't even like all that funny. Like Trey said, it's a little too serious. It's just a bummer. I wish it was Fast 5 ending us here, but it's not. So we'll get to ranking it here.
Well, look, when the next 2 come out, you're gonna do them and do a podcast on them inevitably.
Yeah, I guess we sort of have to.
So
now.
you got 2 more bites at the apple.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's important that the 11 ends well. That's what you really want.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, then there's another
huge.
Hobbs and Shaw for sure, and then there's a Han and Shaw coming, and then there's a little Brian and
Brian and Jack.
L or something. Yeah, Brian and Jack. You laugh now. That'll be around in 20 years for sure. Okay, so we're gonna rate this, and then we'll do our official sort of final leaderboard with all these movies. But Matt, you have something a little different because you've only been on 2 of our podcasts. I don't know if you've actually been keeping score of or ranking all of your movies as you've watched them here in very fast succession, but you had something else before we had to actually slotting F9 into where we think it falls. What is this?
Well, before we get to that, JD. F9, F9, F9. Greatest keyboard key of all time. F9, F9, F9.
Oh yeah, F9.
So that's Drake.
That was Drake, right?
Yeah.
That's a certified lover boy?
Yeah, that's on his new album. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. This is good.
It's a bonus
really
track.
Good. So like you said, you guys are going to rank the movies in terms of how much you enjoyed them. But first, I'm going to rank them by title.
Oh.
So
Okay.
to be clear, this has nothing to do with how good or bad the movie is. This is based on the title of the movie alone.
Okay.
Okay. And I welcome your suggestions and comments. All right, number 9. So not like Lee Ellis. Number 9 is the worst one, going to number 1. Okay. Fast and Furious.
Oh.
As in the 4th movie.
The 4th movie.
Okay.
Ampersand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You start with like a big bombastic title like The Fast and the Furious. And then 3 more movies go by, and then you come out with one and you pare it down to just Fast and Furious, trying to make it sound sleek, trying to make it sound cool. I know it was like sort of like a reset in a way, but it feels like it just feels worse than the original title, and it's also confusing, it's also the name of a botched government operation.
Yeah.
This Fast and Furious scandal.
Yeah.
Involving the ATF. That's all I know.
I am with you. I'm with you on this being one of the worst. It's very confusing for sure. And you have a number that has an F, like 5. Like you got 4 to play with there.
Yeah.
Like you can get creative, but yeah.
It's a missed opportunity. Number 8, Fast and Furious 6. Just because that's it's like you've named them all like different things, and it's just you're adding a 6. And it's, again, not The Fast and the Furious. Just you're taking the worst title and just adding a 6. And I saw that even they thought this was a bad title because they tried to call it Furious 6.
Yeah.
But by the time the movie came out, everyone was calling it Fast and Furious 6. They were like, okay, forget it. We'll just call the next one Furious 7. So number 7,
Yep.
The Fate of the Furious.
Ooh.
Now here it's like, okay, I like the absurd titles, and you're trying to do something with it, which I respect. But this is a tortured phrase. The Fate of the Furious. It's a bit of a mouthful. You
don't enjoy that fate rhymes with 8. You don't enjoy that.
You don't like that? Come on.
Is it the 8th movie though?
Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
It comes right after Furious 7.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's F8. Fate of the Furious.
F8. Okay, yeah.
This one's
Oh, the
on the list.
8. Is that?
Yeah.
The 8 of.
But did they?
No,
spell
they didn't
it like that.
No, they did not stylize.
Oh, why
it.
did they spell
They
it
should
like
have.
that?
That's really good. Yeah.
Like Skater Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I mean that they could have been higher on my list, but they botched it.
Fair enough.
Number 6, F9. I like you get to the point where it's just a letter and a number. That's it. Everyone knows what it is. F9.
But here's the question: does it stand for Fast 9 or Furious 9?
Fast 9.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, unless it's Furious 9 the Fast Saga, because it would be weird if it was Fast 9 the Fast Saga. Yeah. Either way, it's pretty cool if you get to the point where you can just name your movie. Like, realistically, they could have just named it F or FF.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 5, Furious 7. Yeah. Probably pretty gutsy to go away from the Fast, go straight to the Furious. And I also like the way it's like the Furious 7, like the Dirty Dozen. Mm-hmm. I thought about trying to count, like, are they 7? But I don't know who to count, so I couldn't tell you. Like, does the Furious 7 refer to a group of the 7 characters?
Right.
Probably not.
I like it in that movie is the one where you get the line from Dom where he says, "This time it ain't just about being fast." It could only happen in a movie called Furious.
Right.
Okay, so we're getting to the upper tier here. So at number 4, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Because I remember hearing this title for the first time and laughing. Right? I mean, it's an absurdly long title. It tells you exactly what it is. They're like, we can't just, like, we're not going to, like, we could just call it The Fast and the Furious 3. Could just call it Tokyo Drift since it's like basically a whole reset.
Yeah.
No, we got to use all of it. And I think it's like one of those kind of meme titles, for a lack of a better word. Like, it's just long and it's just amusing. It's in a franchise that's going to be getting more and more insane. I just like that they just went big for the title.
Yeah.
And number 3, Fast 5.
Sure.
Alliteration.
Sounds
I mean,
great.
that's the reason there. The name itself sounds fast, don't you agree? Fast 5. Fast 5.
Fast 5.
Yes.
It's one word. It could be said as one word.
Yeah.
Fast 5.
Fast 5.
Fast 5. Number 2, The Fast and the Furious. The OG. The title that started it all, you could say. I don't think that you could separate these movies from their titles. Like, for instance, did you know that this movie was supposed to be called Red Line?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What did you think when you found it out, though?
Would you also agree that if you had these crazy movies, I know they were just called Red Line 2, Red Line 3, like, I think the titles kind of gave it some of its movement and focus for it to be.
Yeah,
like,
I think JD said that back on our first podcast.
Okay, good.
I remember.
Good.
Oh yeah, I love that.
You were like,
I think that should be number 1. I know you got Too Fast, Too Furious is your number 1 here. Spoiler alert. 'Cause I've been keeping track. But The Fast and the Furious is such a great name and totally worth it. They got it from Roger Corman because he had a movie back in the day, and somehow, what was it? Corman got something in return. I can't remember. It was
no. They had a race.
You owe me a 5-word title. Okay, and the number 1, I think probably the worst movie, or at least second worst movie, but I think it's the best title, Too Fast, Too Furious, because wow, we're really going for this. It's like the natural thing would just be to call it The Fast and the Furious 2.
Yeah.
But they put 2s in instead of the thes, and boy, is that a winner. Like,
but in a weird way, there's 2 2s. Does it make it 4?
2 times 2.
Interesting. Will they bring it back for 22?
Ooh.
Fast 22. 22 Fast, 22 Furious.
That's with little Brian and Jack, for sure.
Anyways, it's the number. It's big. It's crazy, it's dumb, it's in your face, and just like this movie franchise. So, Too Fast, Too Furious.
All right. I pretty good list. I don't have many qualms with that list.
Yeah. I would switch number 1 and number 2, but I think you nailed it. Yeah, if the Fate of the Furious was used the letter 8, that would have shot it up, I think, almost to number 3 or number 4, maybe.
Does anyone have a prediction what the next one will be called?
Fast 10 your seatbelts.
What about Fast X?
Fast what?
Okay, yeah,
Roman
that's good.
numerals.
That's better.
Ooh.
Fast X?
Yeah, Fast
Roman
X.
Pierce numerals.
What about FX? Oh, there's already a movie.
FX,
There's already a movie called FX.
Yeah, there
F1
is.
0. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
F1-0.
Oh, that's okay. And they do Formula 1 in this one. That'd be cool.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Sure. F1-0, a video game?
F-Zero is a video game
F-Zero
for sure.
is right? Yeah.
Hawaii 510.
All right. I like that question for everybody watching and listening still, over 2 hours in, once again. What are they going to be calling the 10th? I mean, this is the weird thing. I mean, I don't know. I guess Hobbs and Shaw, it's in there, but it's not. So, the 10th Fast and Furious movie. What do you want to call it? Let's hear your suggestions. Tweet at us, too, at NoDunksInc, and you can email in your suggestions as well.
The Hobbs and Shaw is a mouthful, too, right? Because it's The Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, but come on.
Never heard
It's like
anyone
Tokyo
call it that.
Drift at this point.
Yeah.
You're just saying it.
Totally.
Okay, I like it. So let's go back to the actual movie that we just watched, F9, we just talked about. We weren't loving. JD, I want you to rank it or rate it 1 out of 10, and then give us your final, leaderboard for this franchise. And I think you said on the last one you were changing scores. You were docking all the other movies.
I did, and I went back and I subtracted 3 points from all of the movies that I've rated so far.
Okay. So this one though, quickly. F9.
So this one, you said to rate it 1 to 10.
Uh-oh.
I'm giving it a 0.
Oh, wow.
All right.
I can't. There is. For $200 million, this is what we got. We got the return of Justin Lin, the return of Han, and it was such a disappointment. I will admit that I went in with a bit of a bad attitude because I knew that The Rock wasn't in it, and I was on such a high from Hobbs and Shaw, and I mentioned it. I saw the poster in it with Dom staring through my soul. It's like, oh god, this is gonna be brutal.
And then you had to pay $19.99 for it.
Yeah, but you know what? Fine. I mean, the people got to get paid. So
sure.
So, anyways, I'm gonna give it 0. I gotta go let my son in. So I'm gonna rank when I come right back. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh wow, this is exciting.
I'll be right back.
Okay, you go get him. So we'll go to you here, Trey. You rate this one, you rank this one, and then give us your rundown.
All right. Well, I love the backstory stuff in this. I love the bridge stunt and the Monte Quinto entire scene. I thought that was probably the best scene. I did like the magnet weapon, and who cares about the physics? It looked awesome when the cars are flying and just, like almost like zombies just all joining up. I love that. But it is tough going from the tonal qualities of Hobbs and Shaw to those of Fast 9. It's just like, it feels so dour to me that it has to fall into the okay tier. I'm giving it a 6, which is just okay. So for me, I ended up with 4 tiers here. Tier 1, perfection.
Okay.
Fast 5, the first one, and number 7. If I were going to tell people that don't want to actually watch 10 movies, I'd say watch number 5, or watch number 1, watch number 5, watch number 7.
Yep, I think that's
you
right.
get the whole story of the first part of the saga. Tier 2, great. I love these ones. We'll rewatch them a lot. 4, 3, 6, and Hobbs and Shaw. I bumped up number 6 here. I was feeling bad. I had Fast 6 in the 6 okay tier. Having now watched all of them, I feel like I undervalued that one a little bit. So I'm bumping up number 6. So
okay.
Those are the next tier of movies. My okay, these are Fast and Furious movies. 8 and 9. Almost feel like the movie franchise has gotten a little bit too big for itself, and my only one in tier number 4, the no thanks tier, will be Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay, so Trey taking us through his tiers there. JD, Jack's in the house. He's okay now?
He made it, yeah.
Okay,
it was,
good.
He didn't have his key, and I've been looking at this front door on my my phone here, so... And then,
Hold on, Cypher could have hacked your door. It could have let him in somehow.
God's eye.
So Trey had us with tiers with this one, and the 3 at the top, just so you know, were the first one, Fast 5 and Furious 7.
Okay.
And there was a lot in the second tier. Then there was 8 and 9 down in the okay, talking about obviously the Fate of the Furious and F9, and then Too Fast, Too Furious was like, no thanks, I've got to go.
Okay.
So
I guess I sort of have tiers as well. I'm just going based on my scores that I gave them.
Okay.
So number 1 is Hobbs and Shaw. That was a 10 out of 10.
This is where we strongly disagree, but
yeah, I know. But then there's the Fate of the Furious. That got a 9.5 originally. Now it's down to a 6.5.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right.
Tough.
Which I think is good. I think that's where it belongs.
You're retconning more than the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Am I though? Furious 6 is next. That got a 9 originally. It's down to a 6. Tokyo Drift, which was my favorite for a long time before these other ones came in. I loved it. But I only gave it a 7. That's weird. I think maybe I was holding back. I was holding back some love because it was early.
Yeah.
And I knew some spy shit was coming, and I love that stuff. So, but 7, fine. But now it's down to a 4. You know what? Yeah, let's keep it a 4 for now because it's going to be too complicated. Then comes Fast 5. Also gave it a 7, so that's a 4. Furious
more
7.
complicated than
It's
Leo
very
doing a
complicated.
goddamn countdown. Yeah.
Furious 7. It's at a 2.5 now.
Okay.
Fast and the Furious, the OG. I originally gave it a 5, down to a 2, and I'm still fine with that. Fast & Furious is next. That is at a 1 now, guys. That is at a 1, tied with Too Fast, Too Furious.
Wow.
And then the final worst movie of the franchise is F9.
Wow.
Which I just gave a 0.
So -3. Wow.
No, well, oh, sure,
No,
yeah, might as well.
Yeah, sure. It doesn't matter. It's at the bottom. I'm with you. I agree with you, JD. I think this is the worst movie of the bunch. I do. And it's like it gets a little, my memory's a little hazy of like trying to remember what actually was happening in Too Fast, Too Furious. Like I know one that we didn't like. But this one, man, I was not a fan. And for all the reasons we've talked about. So I won't go over them. I've got just this at the bottom. I think it's the worst, F9. And then Too Fast, Too Furious is right there. A lot of them are very average. I gave out a lot of like 4 to 6s, I feel like, when we did this whole podcast series. And I feel pretty good about that. They're all good movies. They're not the greatest things you've ever seen, but they're not bad. And they were more enjoyable than I thought they were going to be. And I've said that a couple times. I was pleasantly surprised with a lot of these movies. I thought they were going to be way worse somehow. But I love the 3 you have at the top. I'm with you, Trey. I don't care the order really all that much. I think Fast 5 is probably my favorite. But the first one, the Fast and the Furious, and then Furious 7 there with what happens and how they, tied up loose ends and stuff like that with the tragedy that happened. I think those are the 3 best ones. And then everything else is in the middle. Matt, anything you don't need to take us through all of them, but are we in the ballpark with sort of your rankings? Yeah,
my top tier is just Fast 5 and Furious 7. And the Fast and the Furious is probably the next best one, but it's in my tier 2.
Okay. All right. That's it, guys.
We did it.
We somehow did it. It took all summer long. Thanks to Matty O for jumping in a couple of times. I like that you jumped into the best one, arguably, Fast 5, and, well, the worst one. I mean, Trey doesn't have it as the worst, but one of the most disappointing ones. It's perfect in a way. Let us know what you guys think. Tweet at us at NoDunksInc. Email in your rankings if you want to nodunks@theathletic.com. Put Fast Friends in the subject header. Makes life easier for us. Any final thoughts? I mean, let's just end with that. JD, how do you sum up this this weird idea that we decided to pull off?
I think it was successful. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's fun to get on the mic and shoot the shit about movies. It's it's kind of like hanging out and getting paid for it. So cheers.
Hey, I'm out of mine. Hey. Is it warm? I hope it's not warm. Cheers to that. Trey, final thoughts here.
20 years of my life has been devoted to Fast and Furious. And now it feels like it's finally paying off. I'm in for another 20. This was super fun. For me, it started literally back in high school with my high school friends. I feel like Dom Toretto because I've gone up and down North America, making friends, watching Fast and Furious, and oddly enough, with y'all is like the group of friends that I haven't yet watched these Fast and Furious movies with, so I thought that was really fun. I can't wait to see what goes on in these next couple of movies here, because there's not much backstory to tell at this point. There's not a lot of crazier locations you can go to. They've done underwater, they've done outer space, what else is there?
Yeah.
Underground, I suppose, maybe. The one thing they have left to do is kill Dominic Toretto. And I think if Justin Lin comes out and kills Dom in either Fast 10 or Fast 11, that's the way it's got to end to me. He's got to finally actually die saving his family somehow. So if they've got the guts to do it, this could be an epic ending, and then you know what? Bring him back for Fast 12.
Yeah, of course. He would be back. We know that. That necklace would show up, and we would see it. I do wonder with this franchise, it's sort of like, to compare it to Survivor, JD, I think it's at the crossroads here, because I think it's obviously been terribly successful. Yeah. Just like Survivor was, it started with a bang and then continued to go, and then you have that all-star season, which we sort of had here. In this franchise, I would say, when you're just like, oh, get that. Oh, I love that character. We'll bring that character back. Add that character. I mean, we saw that happen in the sort of earlier years or first 10 years of Survivor. But then it hit like a real lull, and it continued. Survivor did. Are there enough fans that are probably listening to this podcast that will just watch anything with Fast or Furious in the title, no matter how good or bad it is? That's what I'm curious to see. And will this just go on for another, 10 movies, or is this like near the end? Is it one or two left? And then, or is there the spin-off of like, okay, now it's a Hobbs and Shaw thing and we run with that for a while? I can't wait to see. It feels like there's enough fans that will go and watch these things. It still does well.
Totally. I mean, it made $700 million or something already.
And we said it's the worst one.
Yeah. So I think some of that is, I think this was a lot of people's first foray back to the theater after the pandemic as well. So I think that contributed to it maybe. And maybe, I mean, what is it rated on Rotten Tomatoes? Is it fresh or it can't be,
sir.
right?
I don't think
like
so. I think it's rotten, but I think
mid-50s.
the audience obviously likes it, I think, for the most part.
That was Metacritic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, people are gonna love it, I guess. I hope. I mean, I wish this series well. I
wish you well.
I was struck. Like I was reminded of things that have come back. It's 20 years old now. Michelle Rodriguez is a full-on adult. Like they all seem old to me. Han looked particularly old to me, and of course, Lucas Black looked, ancient compared to what his character is supposed to be. So, it sort of reminded me of like Star Trek when the original cast kept doing movies and they kept coming back, and it was just like, at least they were aware, like they made reference to it. It's like, oh, James Kirk is coming out of retirement, to do a one last kick at the can. We're going out one more time kind of thing. They have to start doing that, or as Trey said, let's get some new blood in there. Because it's now it has already become a parody of itself, and I think they need to take a real dose of Hobbs and Shaw and stick it back into the main franchise again, because wow, what a bummer this movie was for us, I guess. So yeah.
Matt, any final thoughts as we wrap this up?
Yes, I too would like to wish this movie franchise well.
Will you be back when we do the inevitable Hobbs and Shaw 2 or Fast and Furious 10, FX, whatever it's called?
If you'll have me, I'll come back anytime you guys need me.
I think the fans would love
if
to have you back.
If we could do the board game on Zoom, I'm there too. I don't know about flying back. To play the Fast and Furious board.
Do you guys want to all dress up as Dominic Toretto for Halloween?
I got to work on my arms if that's the case.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, we got a couple months to get in the gym.
To get some Toretto arms.
A couple months? What am I talking about? We got like a month. All right, yeah.
Last thing I Googled before we started this episode. Dominic Toretto necklace. You can find them pretty easily. Skeets might need to check the mail pretty soon.
Do you have to pay extra to get the one with the tracker in it?
Yeah, that's a good question. You think Jacobs had a tracker? Should have just activated that pretty early in the movie. Hey, let me check on me old. Boop. Oh, I found my brother. He's been around the whole time.
Okay.
But yeah, be on the lookout for necklaces coming soon.
Oh my God. Well, then that means everybody be on the lookout for our Instagram and Twitter accounts where we'll be all wearing that damn necklace that showed up time after time in this franchise and made me more furious every single time. Maybe that's why it's called that. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Matty O, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.